Chris Cotter, thank you very much. Look at Emmett Moorhead in place of Phil Jurkovic, 20 minutes away from kickoff. BC and NC State, the MJ Morris era has officially begun. He's off and rocking. We'll take you right up to kickoff in that one. We are live. As for BC and NC State, this NC State team breathing new life now that they've discovered MJ Morris is beyond capable, but still about that defense and those linebackers. Isaiah Moore, 10 TFLs, leads the team, one of the captains looking to get it going. 13 minutes away from kickoff. This Louisville team defensively has them very confident. 7 minutes away from kickoff. BC at NC State, and Devin Leary gone for the season. But MJ Morris has stepped in, not admirably. He's been starring. EJ, how?
Well, the biggest thing when you look at MJ Morris, a young quarterback, you want to get him out on the edge. He's an athletic guy. He has a rocket for an arm, but also he has a presence. And when we had a chance to talk to him after the win against Wake Forest last Saturday night, he really showed us the kind of guy and the mentality he has. But this first play, you're going to see the pocket break down. You got an inside rusher coming. Get outside the pocket, make something happen. And what that does is it allows a receiver to uncover. It's very hard for a DB to stay on a receiver 4, 5, 6 seconds into a down, and you're going to have receivers come open for touchdowns. Same situation. Look at the top of the screen. The slot receiver, Thayer Thomas, move MJ Morris, the quarterback, out the pocket, and allow him to throw this ball on top of the head of the Wake defender. Now, this is a perfect throw because the defender cannot see the football. So Thayer Thomas has every opportunity to either catch this ball or get a pass interference. Again, an excellent throw by a freshman quarterback. Now, this last play, post alert. What does that mean? When the safety's coming down, there's no safety help in the deep third. You're going to have 6 offensive linemen here and a running back give you protection, which allows you to have time to throw this ball on a post, a dime, and a perfect spot. If that ball's 6 inches to the left, it gets knocked down by the DB from Wake Forest. Excellent job by this freshman quarterback, MJ Morris. He is a star.
So you said that coming into the game when we were there in Raleigh, and he proved it. He went out there, and he was the reason why they won last week. Now you've got a Boston College team. The struggle's well documented, but the remainder of the season, how do you assess and how would you push MJ Morris to grow here in these final few games?
Yeah, you continue to give him more, continue to unleash the beast. You know, you kind of played it a little bit easy, running the ball a little bit more. NC State wasn't great at running the ball, but Houston had a pretty good day running the ball. Even a young freshman, Allen, stepped up for some big runs as well. So I'm unleashing the entire playbook. Yes. I really want to see how good this kid can be.
And I think he earned that, right? They had a slow start for him, kind of not babying him, but giving him a very contained version of that. And then by midway through the second quarter, they started opening it up. The second half, they truly were. So now it's like, okay, coach, I've proven to you I can handle that. It was the bright lights. It was a ranked matchup, homecoming, all these different things. I think you're exactly right. They're going to keep giving him more and more, expect to see more shots down the field. But the running attack that MJ can provide, the mobility that he can provide, I think that unlocks the entirety of this NC State offense.
And no, that's the difference I'm seeing with this offense with MJ rather than Devin Leary. They're attacking more downfield. And I don't know what the difference is, but they're taking more shots down there. Different guys are stepping up, making plays. Lassane's playing better. So I don't know what it is, but this guy's gave him a spark.
You know, I think when you look at MJ Morris, he just has short-term memory, and some quarterbacks naturally have that. Some guys are real conscientious. They throw an interception. They have a couple incompletions. They're like, man, I can't throw. But no, MJ Morris, you could hear him when he talked to us last week, and he said, hey, look, it's just a game.
Yep.
I'm not going to make this thing bigger than what it is. And as a young quarterback, as a pup, if you already have that, you're well on your way.
One of the things that I was able to absorb when we talked to MJ Morris post-game after that win in Raleigh a week ago, culture, culture, culture. And what do I mean? He mentioned how he was put in position to succeed in that game. Devin Leary, the star, the face of the program, out with injury, watching another guy thrive, coaching him up all week.
Yes.
Captains of that defense, Isaiah Moore, the lot, talking to him, Drake Thomas, Thayer Thomas, all across the team, both sides of the ball saying, we've got you. Lifting up a guy to feel confident, that is huge. And MJ Morris has an opportunity to go out there and wow us again today, because that's where we're going to send you. Out to BC and NC State. Mike Monaco, Roddy Jones, Taylor Davis. Enjoy, and we will see you at the half.
what a day it is for those seniors who have been through so much. I mean, they just got done announcing them. I've got goosebumps. You've got goosebumps. Taylor might have tears down there on the sideline. But it's an incredibly emotional, incredibly memorable day for these guys that have elevated this program to a level that NC State, quite honestly, hasn't seen over a sustained period of time.
30-plus seniors being recognized, but it's not all seniors for NC State because with the Devin Leary injury, MJ Morris, true freshman, he makes his second career start.
ACC Rookie of the Week a week ago, back-to-back games with 3 touchdowns, and the thing that's been the most impressive, his poise, his maturity, the way he has managed the game the past 2 weeks while being an absolute star. The skill set suggests that the sky is the limit for this young player. Now he just has to continue to build, play within himself, and direct this offense.
You hear complimentary football all the time. You can play that when you've got a defense that is this good.
I mean, just look at the number of categories that they're number 1 in the conference in. Most important thing a defense can do is keep people out of the end zone. And a lot of the guys that were just honored for Senior Day live on this defense. Guys like Isaiah Moore, Peyton Wilson, Drake Thomas, they are the headliners. But this defensive line has been excellent, and they've got a star in Aiden White in the back end as well with an interception a week ago.
A defense that goes up against Boston College with a young quarterback as well, Taylor.
Young quarterbacks here today. Phil Jurkovec is once again ruled out here today, still dealing with that knee injury he sustained in the game against Utah. So BC will be handing the reins to Emmett Moorhead. Now, he's coming off a 330-yard, 4-touchdown day against Duke, and he's got the confidence to match it. He told me this week it will require composure going against one of the most veteran defenses in the league. He said it's about getting the ball to the playmakers, not forcing anything. But Roddy, speaking of playmakers, he may have one of the best in the league in Zay Flowers.
Maybe one of the best. Maybe the best player in the league with Zay Flowers, what he's been able to do on the offensive side of the football. You see the targets. They're going to go to him early and often, and when he's on the field, he often looks like he's playing at a different speed than everybody else.
He's electric, and so is this scene at Carter-Finley Stadium. Dave Doran was hopeful that the crowd would file in early to recognize these seniors. Jalen Gill's back deep. Colin Smith will kick it away. And we are set to go. 7-2 NC State ranked 16th in the country, and Boston College at 2-7 overall. Smith's kickoff is a touchback, and we will get a look at Emmett Moorhead. He's out of Woodside, California. Taylor told you the key is composure. You saw some deep breaths, and we talked with John McNulty, his offensive coordinator. He wasn't nervous at all in his start Friday against Duke.
No, he wasn't. I mean, he's a California kid, cool, calm, and collected, but physically, he looks the part. 6'5", almost 230 pounds. Guy has a really quick release and excellent ball placement down the field. They're going to have to hit some shots against an NC State defense that I think is going to challenge him with pressure and a lot of different looks.
Pressure early, you expect, right?
Absolutely.
Zay Flowers, 4 and white, top of your screen. Pat Garwo is the veteran running back, and it's a quick hitter to Flowers. On the outside, and Zay Flowers turns it upfield. He's got a first down. That's the recipe for the Eagles.
We were talking about this pregame on the field. That's an easy access throw. You're bringing pressure from the boundary. Tanner Ingle is coming from the short side of the field, which means the rotation is to that side. Corners backed off to the field. Easy pitch and catch on a first down.
Saw that a lot through the years with Clemson.
Sure did, yeah. That was something that kept them on schedule a lot. And I expect when you have Zay Flowers, you get them the ball in a myriad of different ways.
19 yards on the first play. Just outside midfield, it's Garwo on the ground, and he is stacked up. We told you how good the NC State defense is. It's a loss of a yard, and it's a BC rushing attack that is the worst in the country.
Yeah, they've really struggled. Some of it's been they've gotten behind in games, so they've had to throw the ball some more. But even from a yards per carry standpoint, it has been a real struggle, and most of that's because of the shuffling on the offensive line.
Jeff Havley was so excited that for the first time all year, it is the same starting offensive line for 2 games in a row. They've had 8 different combos in that starting 5 in 10 games now. Play action. Moorhead is smacked and dropped. Isaiah Moore, the 6th-year senior, got home, brings up 3rd down.
And that play is created by Drake Thomas. Watch him come off the left side, force Moorhead up in the pocket. And then Isaiah Moore sees the gap, shoots through it, and finishes Drake Thomas does so much for this defense. You saw his athleticism coming off the edge. And Isaiah Moore just always seems like he's in the right place at the right time. And, Mike, here's where Boston College should get a little concerned because you've got a young quarterback. You're going to get some exotic looks, potentially exotic blitzes from NC State.
John McNulty wants to be conservative on early third downs. Now, pressure did not come. It's a drop-off there to Alex Broom, the running back, on the screen. And BC will take its medicine, 9 yards, and will punt.
And you mentioned John McNulty expecting pressure. That time NC State doesn't bring it. And McNulty told us, hey, in those situations, we just got to check it down, manage it, and make sure we're not throwing the ball to the other team. That's a good job by Emmett Moorhead of just taking what the defense gave him on the check down, getting positive yardage, and letting his team punt.
Thayer Thomas is back deep, and Danny Longman, great name for a punter, will boot it away. On a high arcing kick. Lands right by the 10. Takes an NC State bounce. Well done by Longman. And NC State has it on offense for the first time. So MJ Morris, true freshman, 19 years old. 2 weeks ago, he grabbed hold of the platoon with Jack Chambers after the Leary injury. Beat Virginia Tech. Then came out and got the start last week, and he was excellent.
I joked with Tim Beck, the offensive coordinator for NC State, saying, hey, the best thing for you guys was almost going down 21-3 against Virginia Tech because you had to take the reins off MJ Morris. He gained so much confidence in that game, and it really continued against Wake Forest. Has gotten off to some slow starts, but really strong finishes.
He'll look to the air on his first play, throws on the run for Thayer Thomas, who makes a wonderful catch. Matched up with Jason Maitre through the contact.
You saw early in the game last week, MJ Morris overthrowing some deep balls. This is one heck of a throw. Give your senior an opportunity to go up and get the football. He does that, and they get a big play.
They go quickly after 23 yards. Busted play. Morris took off. Donovan Ezaraku on the stop.
How about that start for NC State, though? Tim Beck getting Thayer Thomas on a little wheel route. And MJ Morris, you know, it's funny because the relationship between Thayer Thomas and Devin Leary was talked about a lot. But MJ Morris has actually gone to him a ton the past couple weeks.
I mean, huge target numbers that you were telling us about this week. Here's some trickeration from the pack. On a flip to the edge. Running room out toward midfield. And Julian Gray takes it toward the 40-yard line. It's a gain of 23.
Taking advantage of the aggressiveness of BC on the backside with the reverse. Devin Carter's out today for the Pack, so it's given some opportunity for some of these other guys to make plays.
Yeah, took that hard hit last week in the win over Wake Forest for NC State. 30-21 right here in Raleigh in the homecoming game for the Pack to get the record to 7-2 and 3-2 in the ACC. Second down and 9. Jordan Houston, leading rusher with a seam. Cole Batson makes the tackle, and it's a first down for NC State, 13 yards.
NC State's rushing attack has not been explosive or overly consistent this season, but a nice job gashing them up the middle.
Clean pocket. Morris down the seam for a touchdown. Trent Penix bouncing off tacklers. 27 yards.
Just a verticals concept. You get a safety in the middle of the field, and this throw by MJ Morris, it's an absolute laser up the seam, right on the numbers of Trent Penix, who reaches out, plucks it out of the air in front of the safety. Penix is able to finish. How about the start for MJ Morris? So impressive.
He came out on the field bouncing as he got out of the huddle for that first snap. And what a start indeed. Trent Penix the touchdown. NC State lit up, thinking about some of the matchups for him.
He missed some time earlier in the year. The former running back is an excellent athlete, and MJ Morris makes the read, looks off the safety, delivers an accurate ball, and Trent Penix with the power to get into the end zone to put NC State up by a touchdown.
Time now for Food Lions Food for Thought. What do you got, Roddy?
Well, first off, an appetite. But secondly, for Boston College, they're going to have to protect the quarterback on offense. NC State's going to send pressure. And somehow they're going to have to find a way to disrupt MJ Morris on the defensive side of the ball. And then for NC State, their defense has to confuse him at Moorhead. He's going to see a ton of different looks, whether it's drop 8, blitz 8, and everything in between. And then offensively, just take care of the football because the defense should be able to handle Boston College and that offensive attack.
They dropped 8 on the first third down that Moorhead faced. It was a 5-play, 88-yard drive, a minute 58, and now BC gets it back for the second time, and Moorhead at the controls. We told you he made that first career start last Friday against Duke. It was his first start since his junior year of high school, and he threw 4 touchdown passes. First BC quarterback since Doug Flutie to do that in your first career start.
It's a pretty good name to be on the list with.
That plays anytime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Moorhead under center. George Takis, his top tight end, in motion. From the 25, it's Broom. Talented freshman without much running room. The nose tackle Corey Durden on the stop.
And talking to the BC coaches, if you ask about this NC State defense, people are going to have different answers about who the best player is. The BC coaches were like, that guy in the middle, Corey Durden, he may be the best player on the entire field for NC State, which is saying something because I would argue Davin Vann has had just as good a season. But it's kind of your flavor. Corey Durden has certainly been fantastic, though.
Yeah, Vann 45 in red on the top of your screen on the defensive line. Second down, here comes the pressure, and Drake Thomas with a sack. Second sack already for the Pack.
And this is the part of it that Boston College is going to have to manage. This time NC State plays cover 1. There's one safety in the middle of the field. But as soon as the running back blocks, it triggers the linebackers to come in. You blitz one backer. If the running back takes him, it's called green dogging. And that's exactly what Drake Thomas does. He waits for the running back to take Isaiah Moore, comes through the backfield, and sets up another 3rd and long.
He sees it, he gets free, and then he can go.
Yeah, they did that a lot last week against Wake Forest, too. As soon as the back steps up, and they know you don't have to cover them in a pass route, then you come and get the quarterback.
So now it's a second, 3rd and long already, and BC is going to back up 5 yards. George Takis jumped early.
It's number 80, 5-yard penalty. It's still 3rd down.
If it wasn't that, it was going to be a delay of game because the play clock was running down, and that's what Emmett Moorhead is going to have to manage more than he did last week. In the first start, that was at home. Carter-Finley's a different deal in this league with the number of people that show up and their engagement in the football game. So from a noise standpoint, he's going to have a much different task than he did last week.
This is not the start that Jeff Hafley wanted these first 3 possessions of the game. From the 12-yard line, 3rd down and 23. And Broom will probe to the right side. Fights for some yardage out toward the 20, and BC will punt again. Davin Vann in on the tackle.
Kind of see the recipe for NC State. If they get in situations where they think Boston College is going to drop back, they're going to throw the. I mean, they're going to bring the house and challenge this young BC offensive line and backs to protect Emmett Moorhead. So they're going to have to find some sort of answer to that.
Danny Longman to punt again with Thayer Thomas back at his 40. Low kick bounces at the 45, takes a BC hop all the way toward the 30. So midway through the first, NC State's got the lead, and MJ Morris back at quarterback when we return. Back in Raleigh, it's an early hole for Boston College against NC State. Let's check in with Taylor.
Yeah, guys, down here on the BC sideline, Jeff Hafley and Tim Lukabu talking with this defense about dialing up some pressure. And look, this BC defense is no stranger to the blitz, actually blitzing on 35% of pass plays this season. And they know against a true freshman quarterback like MJ Morris, he could be susceptible to some pressure and that blitz. All 6 of his sacks that he has taken this year have come when he's blitzed. So they were talking about it during that last break, want to give him a lot of different looks moving forward.
Yeah, they're quite honestly going to have to, because on that first one there was no pressure on MJ Morris and he was able to absolutely deliver some gems. So I'd expect him, like Taylor said, to try and do it while keeping him in the pocket because he's got excellent ability once he gets out of the pocket to run.
Second possession for NC State. They had big plays on that first drive. Gains of 23, 24, and 27. Demi Sumo Karngbe, one of the running backs. Good to see him healthy. Good gain on first down. You know, Tem Lukabu, when we chatted with him yesterday, to Taylor's point, he remembers MJ Morris in high school, remembers the moxie and the confidence, so you want to disrupt that.
Yeah, he kind of said, look, there's some guys that you meet that just have it. He had a little bit something to him when he met him in high school.
Nowhere to go for Sumo Karngbe. Bryce Steele, the sophomore Will linebacker, in on the stop. Loss of 2 brings up third down.
Nice play by Steele. Seeing the hole, filling it. Looks like we've got a player down on the ground.
And we've got an NC State player down. We will check on that when we come back to Raleigh. Man, tough to see Demi Sumo Karngbe limp off. He's battled injuries all season, a rib injury. He has sprained his ankle at least twice. You see that left ankle is taped up, and that's what he's favoring as he goes off.
Yeah, it's a big loss for him. He breaks tackles, so his ability to do that is giving them a little bit of an explosive element. He's the only running back with a rush touchdown this season.
Amazingly. First third down for the Pack, and it's the true freshman, Michael Allen. Known for his speed, he's run out by Bryce Steele, and a first down and 16 yards for the rookie.
How about that call? A little speed option from Tim Beck on the offensive side. MJ Morris executes it perfectly, waits to the last minute, kicks it out to Michael Allen, a freshman who they're really excited about, Mike.
You let Jay Morris here, just rhythm-wise early on.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, the throws that he made on that first drive, that was a really mature way to handle the speed option on that drive. It was really nicely done.
He's got the Pack into plus territory. Clean pocket on first down, and he sails the throw for the oft-targeted Thayer Thomas.
It's just a missed throw by MJ Morris, but he had all kinds of time in the pocket, and Taylor just talked about it. The sacks have come via blitzes. This is an experienced offensive line. So if you're Boston College, I would expect at some point they sort of leave those guys in coverage on an island and send more than NC State can block.
And they do have veterans back there in the secondary for Tem Lukabu. Allen on second down. Gets to the edge. Inside the 20. And Michael Allen bulldozes down to the 10-yard line on a gain of 36.
Watch the end man on the line of scrimmage. It's actually Bryce Steele that comes up from linebacker level that's supposed to have contain, and he just gets caught too far inside. The speed of Michael Allen to get around the edge really shows you why they're excited about the freshman. But that's one of those where you have an unblocked defender right there at the line of scrimmage, and he should make the play, but the freshman is able to get the better of him.
Longest rush of the season for NC State. Morris keeps. Morris cuts. Morris is in for the touchdown.
MJ Morris carried the ball 19 times a week ago. They didn't want him to carry it this much, but look at Trent Penix out front. He scores a touchdown earlier and says, all right, I'll pay you back by throwing a block out front, and then MJ Morris gets in the end zone.
2:09 this time, so a couple of quick strike drives for NC State. Chris Dunn on for the extra point, 14 zip out of the chute.
Early on in this game, let's show the full arsenal of what MJ Morris can do. A little zone read, pulls it, blocker out front, makes a man miss in space, and is able to get into the end zone. Celebrate young freshmen, and on senior day, we are certainly going to talk about and highlight these seniors. And I don't want to get too far ahead of myself because there's a lot of game left to go, but we are seeing the emergence of a star in MJ Morris.
He took the field last week here at home. The crowd was literally chanting his name, MJ Morris, before the first snap.
Yeah.
Life has changed for him.
Yes, it has. He had someone stop him on campus this week and ask him to take a picture, something that he was very excited about. But overall, when you talk about the development of a young freshman, you come in and you're wide-eyed in your first appearance, and in the second half of that Virginia Tech game, you win the game. Last week in a charged environment, really settled down and played well. I love how he's come out in this game. It feels like he's starting to get used to the moment walking on the field in charge of the offense.
Roddy Jones too humble to say that leaving the field pregame, he got stopped for a selfie as well. Colin Smith's kick is a touchback. Hey, coming up, the day is capped off by our ACC Network primetime matchup, Syracuse against number 23 Florida State up at the Dome in Central New York. Also available on the ESPN app. Dave O'Brien, Tim Hasselbeck, Kelsey Riggs, that great crew on the call for that one. Who do you like in that one? It's a Syracuse team in a slide right now.
Yeah, I like Florida State. I think the development of this football team over the last couple of years under Mike Norvell has been one of the more impressive things in the league that we've seen. It's a team that takes care of business when they're supposed to. And I think there's only one game this year where you'd point to and say, Florida State let that one go. It was actually against the NC State Wolfpack. But I like Florida State in that game, the way they're playing offensively and defensively, not giving up big plays and creating a ton of them.
Let's see what the status is of Garrett Schrader in that one for the Orange. Third drive for Boston College. They come out throwing. And Jalen Gill adjusts to the ball behind him, makes the grab for 8 yards and a positive gain on first down.
Moorhead didn't give Jalen Gill a choice. You're going to catch this football. I don't care if you're ready or not. Young athlete, sort of looking for answers on this team. And it's eerily similar where his team is right now and where NC State was in 2019 with all the injuries and young players that they're having to play.
Moorhead 3 for 3 so far. Second down and 2, back to the air. Another out pattern for Zay Flowers. Foot in the ground and Flowers out toward midfield. 15 yards.
I would take this 100% of the time it is available if you're Boston College. Condensed formation pushes the defensive back off. Then watch the juke by Zay Flowers. You saw Aiden White. When he tried to recover, he had to end up doing a somersault.
Hey, and with that grab for Zay Flowers, he is now number 1 all-time in career receiving yards at Boston College.
Awesome. Congratulations to Zay Flowers. The career that he's put up has been incredible.
Moves past Alex Amadon. Pre-snap movement and a flag on the near side of the field.
Offense number 88, 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
There's not a team in this conference that is better at anticipating the snap count than NC State. The number of times Tanner Ingle alone did it last week against Wake Forest.
That was nuts.
It was incredible. And it comes from having played these teams over and over and over for multiple years. You start to get a feel of the quarterbacks and the cadences.
And Ingle did that to a veteran Wake Forest team. Moorhead to the air and on the slant. The catch made. Jalen Gill hangs on to that. Took a big shot from Aiden White, 13 yards.
Great catch on the back end by Jalen Gill. Because of the front seven of NC State, I almost think you have to put it in Emmett Moorhead's hands because you're going to have to make plays on the perimeter. Zay Flowers is going to have to be the guy to carry you, but Jalen Gill, Joseph Griffin, those guys are going to have to make plays as well.
Moorhead 5 for 5 so far. Pressure coming, throws it again. Wanted Flowers. Third down and 2 as NC State brought heat.
But you have to live with that if you're Boston College. NC State's going to bring pressure from time to time. But watch Zay Flowers as he comes into the screen. I mean, he is wide open. And yes, the pressure gets to Emmett Moorhead, but if it's a step slower, that's a touchdown. Zay Flowers is hitting his head on the goalpost. So I like the play call from Boston College against pressure for NC State. I would expect pressure from NC State here too. Zay Flowers going to be lined up to the bottom of the screen.
Kevin Boykin brought the heat that time on Moorhead. Pressure coming, BC runs it, and Garwo has nowhere to go. Josh Harris stood him up, and it's a loss of 1, and it's 4th down and 3.
And the numbers would probably tell you to go for it here, but the way the offense is playing, I don't know how much faith you have in them getting it. The way your defense is playing, though, you're going to have to score points to get the Cincy State team. They're leaving the offense on the field. Question is, do you bring pressure or not? I would anticipate it and find Zay Flowers if it's one-on-one coverage. You're going to get one-on-one, it looks like.
He's at the top of your screen in the formation. They need 3. Pressure comes. Moorhead lofts it, and Gill dives to make the catch. And a flag flies in on the hit from Cyrus Fagan. A deep shot on 4th down.
I actually liked them taking a shot like that on 3rd down when you bring pressure, but what a throw by Emmett Moorhead. I mean, that is fantastic. See if they call targeting on that one. The hit was a little bit high.
It's already an NC State secondary that is playing without Tyler Baker-Williams. He's out with a foot injury today.
Personal foul, targeting, defense. The penalty is enforced half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down. The play is under further review.
All right, so this is a defenseless player, so you're just looking for forcible contact to the head or neck area, and I think this is going to be overturned off that look. I mean, Cyrus Fagan kind of turns away from it. Yeah, there's no indicator there. There's no lowering of the head. There's no launch. He runs through him, which you're allowed to do, and his shoulder hits him in the chest. So I see where you would throw that penalty based on where the official was during the play, but I would expect this to be overturned. Cyrus Fagan be able to remain in the game.
Cyrus Fagan himself is looking for a replay right now. Another look from this angle.
So the contact is to the chest. That's where the force comes in the contact. And when you are shoulder to shoulder with someone, your heads are gonna be close. So you see the shoulder goes to the chest, the face mask hits him in the upper shoulder pad area. This is not targeting. This is why the review process was instituted. You have to confirm all aspects of it. And that's just not forcible contact to the head or neck area of a defenseless player.
So even if it's around the neck, you think he turns his head slightly to the right and that removes some of the forcible contact?
Yeah, you have to have an indicator of targeting, which would be a lowering of the shoulder, a leading with the forearm, a lowering of the head. He just kind of runs through his chest area, and there is some inadvertent contact up near the neck area, but I think that's secondary to the force of that was in the chest.
And as we know and have said, all elements of a targeting foul must be confirmed by instant replay.
After further review, there is no foul for targeting. Number 4 may remain in the game. The play results in a first down.
You were all over it from the jump.
Yeah, I think the thing that we should be talking about on that play is that is one heck of a throw by Emmett Moorhead. Yeah. On a 4th down, where you have a slot fade, you have to put it in the spot that Emmett Moorhead did. And with Drake Thomas bearing down on him again, it was a great rush by Drake Thomas. A nice route by Jalen Gill to beat Devin Boykin down the field and get Boston College in a situation where they've got a real chance to score. Nice job of Jeff Hafley, too, going for it and trusting his quarterback.
How about Jalen Gill on this drive? 3 catches, 49 yards. That was 28 right there on the 4th down. Jeff Hafley wanted an explanation after the call was overturned. He gets it. BC driving inside the 20.
Tanner Ingles blitzing from the bottom.
10 in red, smacks Moorhead, prompts the incompletion on the throw to the freshman, Joe Griffin.
Watching Tanner Ingles is fun.
Sure is.
I mean, especially, it's not 100%, but when he lines up as a press corner to the boundary, he is coming almost every time. Emmett Moorhead, he's going to need an ice bath. He's already been hit a ton here in the first quarter.
Moore shows pressure. 4-man rush. Moorhead toward the end zone for a touchdown. Zay Flowers, 17 yards out, and Boston College is on the board. How do you stick with Zay Flowers?
You don't. You hope that you can get to the quarterback. But there was some confusion on NC State's defense. Watch the conversation going on between Tanner Ingle and Derek Pitts. Zay Flowers comes across the screen, crosses the face of Pitts. Great throw by Emmett Moorhead to get in the end zone.
Connor Litton comes on and is good on the extra point. mix-up. Davin Van is tangled up there with some Boston College players leaving the field. Boy, did Boston College need that after the way this started for NC State, the way MJ Morris looks. They went for it on that 4th down, and the deep shot led to the touchdown.
And Jalen Gill came up big. Plays made on the perimeter, but the route by Zay Flowers to stem up the field to not sell which way he was going, and then cut across the face of the safety and Moorhead. I mean, he's been hit in this game. He has been blitzed from all over the place, and I think after you see that for a couple of series, the conversation with your offensive coordinator is, hey, look, they're going to bring pressure. Find 4 as much as you can.
He leads the league in targets. He might also lead the league in smiles.
Yeah, which on a team that struggled a little bit is always a welcome sign.
Liam Connor's kick is a touchback. So we got these young quarterbacks, and they're leading their offenses so far. NC State has looked good. They've piled up 156 yards of total offense already, and now Morris gets another crack at it.
And for the first time, they're coming out with a Boston College team that's got a little momentum after that score. But, I mean, MJ Morris, the throws that he has made early in this game, and then the running ability, which got him in the end zone. It's almost like if you're Tim Beck, which one do you want to go to now? Because you've kind of had everything available to you.
In the pistol, Jordan Houston through a seam on 1st down. And Houston tackled by Cole Batson on a good gain and a 1st down.
It's twice now on a mid-zone play. They've been able to cut it back up the middle and have a lot of success on the run. Jordan Houston was about a hair's breadth away from getting out in the open field and making it a foot rate to the end zone.
Already 116 rushing yards for NC State. First down, 4-man rush, and Morris tried to throw it into a tight window for the freshman Terrell Timmons. Elijah Jones, 5th-year senior in coverage.
I think MJ Morris got caught up on that one. Probably should have worked off of that read to the back that was coming out of the backfield. It was a nice play by Jones, not committing pass interference, coming around, knocking the ball out.
Veteran corner, they need a big day from him. It's a secondary playing without the true freshman. Very good corner, Amari Jackson. He's out with a hamstring injury. Re-injured it last week in the loss to Duke. Houston left side. Nothing there. Cam Horsley, junior defensive tackle. He's had himself a nice season. Slow to get up, brings up 3rd down.
96. Fights across the face of Grant Gibson. Nice job of not getting reached by the graduate senior of NC State. And here's where Boston College has to get off the field. Looks like it's going to be man-to-man on the back end.
Would you bring pressure?
I would, yeah. You try and disrupt MJ Morris. Don't let him just sit back there, pick his favorite matchup and go. But watch Jaden Woodby in the slot over Trent Penix, 3rd from the bottom. That's a matchup that NC State really likes.
Penix 6 in red, the touchdown already. They bring pressure. Morris floats it right side and out of the reach of Porter Rooks. So the pressure came, and NC State will have to punt.
Porter Rooks mixed up his quarterback, went inside the defender when MJ Morris was expecting him to fade that to the sideline. How about Boston College? There was an early onslaught. They sort of steadied themselves, got a touchdown on one end, now a stop, and they've got an opportunity to get back in the game.
First punt for NC State. Returns to Caden Noonkester, redshirt freshman walk-on, who has snatched the job from the veteran transfer Shane McDonough. And he lets out a booming kick that sends Jalen Gill back to his 10-yard line. 55 yards from Noonkester. Hey, coming up later, the ACC Huddle crew will be back with highlights and complete breakdowns of all the afternoon games, and they'll get you ready for Florida State and Syracuse at 8 right here on ACC Network. Then after the game, a full post-game show to wrap up the night. All of it right here on ACC and in the app.
Hey, we got Eddie Royal on the graphic.
About
we
time.
added another face. Nice job, team. at that Eddie in there.
5 wide on the
5
graphic.
wide on the graphic. Squeezing him in there just like at the table. I love it.
I hope they are eating well in central New York.
I'm sure they are. Some dinosaur barbecue.
I like it.
Got to get some dinos.
Tough field position for Boston College after the great punt. BC had a lot of this against Duke offensively last week. They go to the air. It's complete to the Notre Dame transfer tight end George Takis. So 10 pass attempts already for Moorhead. Threw it 45 times last week. Are you going over or under?
It's a great question. 10 were not out of the first quarter. I'm going to go under, but not by much. Just going that based on projection. 10 a quarter, that gets me to 40. So I'm going to go under, slightly.
With 30 seconds to go in this opening quarter. Big drive here for the Eagles. 2nd down and 5. Broom to the left side for a couple of yards. Davin Van in on another tackle for NC State. It's 3rd down.
I like that BC is going to stay committed to making NC State respect the run. You never know, you may pop one of them every once in a while, but giving Emmett Moorhead a quote-unquote playoff from time to time isn't a bad
thing. The first quarter.
End of the first quarter, and NC State's got the 14-7 lead on Boston College. 16 straight home wins for the Wolfpack at Carter-Finley. There has not been a longer streak in program history. Jordan, big 3rd down here, and Emmett Moorhead completes the pass to Jalen Gill. Now there is a flag down on the far side of the field. Would be a 12-yard gain as we start this 2nd quarter.
Illegal motion, offense, number 1, 5-yard penalty, repeat 3rd down.
And it takes away a heck of a play by Emmett Moorhead. I mean, he's off platform, having to fade away from a blitz by Isaiah Moore, and makes a great throw to Jalen Gill, but the movement by the receiver takes it away. So now 3rd and long. You've been in situations where NC State has dropped 8. I don't know if they bring pressure here. There's been a lot of it on Emmett Moorhead. You got guys creeping around there.
Thomas comes, Wilson does as well, and the pass incomplete. Too hot for Gill. Jakeem Harris was there in coverage. 4th down and 9.
That was made by the coverage on the back end. But watch the protection. I mean, as soon as the back stays in, Peyton Wilson's going to come. But Drake Thomas and the pressure that he has caused on Emmett Moorhead has been impressive so far in this one.
Feels like you see 32 running free on pretty
All
much
the time.
every play.
Well, look, if I can get on my soapbox about Drake Thomas, he may be the best defensive player in the league. I mean, he is a fantastic linebacker. He can do everything on the field and should be in the running for Player of the Year in the conference.
3rd punt already for Boston College, and Longman gets it away toward midfield. And Drake's brother Thayer Thomas with a fair catch on a 40-yard punt. 1st minute, 2nd quarter. Pack leading back on offense after this. For Devin Leary back here in Raleigh, who of course the torn pec suffered on this field against Florida State. MJ Morris says he's been like a big brother to me, passing on all his wisdom as the true freshman's been starting.
Such a leader for this team on the offensive side of the ball. And an incredible player. Obviously, there's going to be questions about his future. It's good to see him out of the sling. We saw him yesterday and he has arm in a sling. He's not wearing that sling today. But you just hurt for him because he's had 2 seasons robbed by injury. And now his job is to help shepherd this young freshman.
Best starting field position for Morris and the Wolfpack. And Michael Allen with a good gain on 1st down. Let's go down to Taylor.
Yeah, guys, we've documented that today is senior day, and obviously this group of seniors have laid the foundation for this program. And Senator Grant Gibson actually told me if we had not done that, if we didn't have this foundation and we lost a guy like Devin Leary, our season probably would have crumbled. He said it's because of the veteran leadership and the work that's been poured in for years that we have been able to rally around even the toughest of injuries.
I mean, the names just kept coming out and out during the senior day ceremonies. 30-plus seniors. Got quite the foundation indeed. Allen's got a first down. Wolfpack in plus territory. Cole Batson, the redshirt freshman safety, another tackle.
Cole Batson is an impressive-looking young player. Stands 6'4", he's about 190 pounds right now. I mean, at some point, he's going to be up in that 205, 210 range. He is a fantastic tackler, and as he continues to learn, I think he could be a heck of a player for Boston College.
First down, Morris, quick throw. That's caught by Darrell Jones. You made this point earlier that, to Taylor's point, the foundation of a losing season can spur you years later when the youngsters become vets.
Yeah, and Boston College is hoping that that's the case. There's so many parallels with the way Jeff Hafley was talking about this team to the way Dave Doran was talking about his team in 2019. All the injuries that they had derailed a season that was going to be a season of growth anyway, but you hope that it pays dividends down the line, which is why you can see the excitement for some of these young players.
Chibuzi Onwuka drags down Michael Allen. It's a loss on the play, and it brings up third down.
Mentioned the comfort that MJ Morris has with Thayer Thomas. This is where you'd expect to see it. Thayer Thomas is going to be second from the top. Has caught 18 passes the last 2 games. By far, MJ Morris is his favorite target.
On third down and 8 from the 37. Option again. Allen left side, and he's run out of bounds on a great tackle. Bryce Steele strings it out. Loss of 1, and the BC defense comes up big. Fourth down.
Well played by BC's defense, making this thing go horizontal. Steele scraping over the top, able to track down the running back out in the backfield, and NC State is going to attempt, they're not going to attempt a field goal, they're going to go ahead and punt it. Might be a situation where you take a delay of game, see if you can back up 5 yards.
We've got Caden Newcastle, the punter, out from the 38, so it would be 55 yards if they wanted to test the limits of the excellent Chris Dunn. But nose down for Newcastle, tries to spin it toward the goal line, and Thayer Thomas couldn't keep it out. Boston College back with it, down a touchdown when we return. Year for Dave Doran. We told you 16 straight home wins for this program, tied for the program record set between 1972 and 75 when Lou Holtz was the head coach. One of the longest active streaks in the country. Look back in the 70s, that streak started in 1972 with a win over Syracuse, and it was a freshman QB for the Wolfpack who got it started, Dave Bucky. There you go. Now they got a freshman QB here, trying to set the record all alone here at Carter-Finley Stadium.
Career that Dave Doran has had here, and what he's built, I honestly think it's one of the most underappreciated coaching jobs in the league. He has turned NC State into a team where every year we walk in and they're one of the top 3 teams in the Atlantic with one small blip on the radar, but the guys that he's developed, the draft picks, and the way that this program has operated has been impressive.
They're on defense here, and they stack up Pat Garwo. Peyton Wilson in on the tackle along with Brandon Cleveland.
So much of this offense is going to be based on what happens on first down. Peyton Wilson, I mean, these guys have just seen so much over the course of their time here. Peyton Wilson, the career that he has had, coming through a couple of different injuries. Been an impressive part of this NC State team. The number of guys that have had to overcome adversity.
Yeah, so many on that roster and on that side of the ball. After a loss of 3, Moorhead on play action. On the check down, Garwo is smacked. Aiden White, the corner, brings up third down, a guy having a fantastic season.
tied for 8th in the country in interceptions with 4, had 1 last week. And it's a good decision by Emmett Moorhead. He wanted Zay Flowers, good protection, dumps it off. Just lives to fight another day on that one. Now on 3rd and long. Can you find something? I almost think you try and find a one-on-one matchup, throw it down the field, see if you can make something happen.
Feels a lot like the first few drives for Boston College where it was 3rd and long facing the Eagles. We haven't seen Joe Griffin targeted yet. 2 and White, the freshman. Moorhead steps up, rifles down the middle and broken up by Tanner Engel. Moorhead wanted Jalen Gill. Engel wanted an INT.
Engel with that right hand wrapped up. He batted it down with that hand. CJ Clark walking off the field a little gingerly, but that time the twist by the defensive line speeds up the process of Emmett Moorhead, forces him to make a decision based on faith and anticipation and not what he's seeing. Tanner Engel with a great break on the ball, knocks it down.
He's got a lot of different looks to worry about from Tony Gibson's defense.
He has, and even if they don't blitz more than 4, the twists and stunts can still bother your offensive line enough to speed up the quarterback's decision-making process.
Well, the referee stepped in there before the snap. The play clock kept rolling, so Jeff Hafley has to take a timeout here.
Immediate timeout.
With just under 10 to go in this second quarter. Dave Doran's Wolfpack in front. NC State defensive coordinator Tony Gibson dials up another 3 and out. Jeff Hafley said this week, I don't think Tony Gibson gets enough credit.
He doesn't. His defenses have consistently been excellent, and with the uniqueness of this defense, the 3-3-5 that he runs, I'm not sure anybody runs it as well as he does in the style that he does it, funneling everything to those excellent linebackers.
Brought back 10 starters this year, and the 3-3-5 has been one of the best defenses in the country for the Wolfpack. Danny Longman, another punt. It's a good one. Thayer Thomas retreats inside his 30. And Thayer Thomas brought down after a few yards on a 54-yard punt. So what have you seen from this BC defense the last few times against the Wolfpack offense?
I think they've done a nice job of not giving the easy throws down the field that MJ Morris was able to complete and creating some negative plays. When NC State's been good, it's been pop-up play in the run game, be able to throw the ball down the field and create some chunk plays. As long as BC doesn't allow that, but I think they should be okay defensively.
First down for MJ Morris. On a rollout. Thomas, first down. Eli Jones on the tackle, 18 yards.
I like that play call by Tim Beck. Get MJ Morris on the perimeter. Give him an easy throw on first down.
Now on the ground with Houston. One cut, barrels into Jaden Woodby. And it's 7 yards for Jordan Houston.
That zone play has been really good for NC State so far. An NC State team that has struggled to run the ball this year. It's a team that's 11th in the conference in yards per carry. They were 11th last year as well, but this game, they found some success running that zone play.
Coming into today, their longest rush of the season was 24 yards. They've done that at least twice already in this one. Morris on a slant, incomplete. 3 flags come flying in. Elijah Jones in coverage on Darryl Jones.
If I'd had a flag up here, I'd have been throwing it too.
Warm up the wing.
Exactly. Moments like that.
Timothy Hedgepeth, our referee.
Pass interference. Defense number 40. Automatic first down at the spot of the foul.
You know, the other thing about this Boston College defense, they struggled last week against Duke, and Tem Lukabu, the defensive coordinator, said the defensive line in particular was looking for a bounce back.
The defensive line has been really good at times, and Elijah Jones, when Darryl Jones tried to cross his face, just kind of grabbed him, causing the pass interference.
There, Thomas, back for Morris, throws it up the sideline for Penix. Ball popped out at the end. Penix took a shot from Jaden Woodby, 25 yards on the trick play.
Good to see Trent Penix get up. But how about this play call? Jordan Houston to Thayer Thomas, who might throw the ball himself. Back to MJ Morris. What a throw just over the head of Jaden Woodby. Penix able to get down the field. He's been so banged up this season. You see him playing with the brace on his shoulder. A little upset as he comes off the field, favoring, looks like that left side.
It's the second time he's been a little bit shaken up already in this first half. Week 1, it was the fractured shoulder blade for Penix. He's got catches of 27 and 26 in this one, and now a flag before 1st and goal.
Charge timeout. NC State. They're first of the half.
So they did get the timeout first with 8:03 left here in the second.
Crowd was a little upset. There was some back and forth between the BC defensive line, the offensive line of NC State. Watching the middle of your screen after the snap. A little bit of hands to the face. Well, after that, there was a little bit of a flop by Grant Gibson immediately after that. I think it was Chris Banks right over him, and then there was a little bit of like disengage, like a little shove to the face. Grant Gibson sold it very well. It's actually, we're seeing the replay on the
He's got a little smile
here.
too.
He does have a little smile. Watching the middle of your screen, Banks got a little shove. Oh! Oh, I've been hit. I'm going down. There it is again. Oh my goodness! Oh my head! Help me! Someone help me!
Down goes Gibson.
Down goes Gibson.
You know what? He is one of the great guys in college football.
He really is. He really is. Although I think I'd give him a yellow card for simulation on that one.
Oh, he sold it well. 1st down and goal. Morris rolls. Watts Jones. There's a flag down. Jaden Woodby takes down Morris at the 3-yard line.
Offense number 47. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 1st down.
Freshman tight end Sed Sebro.
Cincy State offense been able to get the chunk plays, but now kind of shooting itself in the foot. Watch the edge of your screen. Sebro grabbing the shoulder. It's a good job of BC down the field, though, not giving MJ Morris anywhere to throw the football.
And so now Morris will have to operate from the 14-yard line on 1st down and goal. 2-back look beside Morris, who keeps it. And Morris tumbles down to the 5-yard line, using his legs for 9 yards. Cole Batson on the tackle for the Eagles.
It's a good job by Batson on the back end. He's the only guy there. Everybody else was fooled. Good read by MJ Morris. He was funny talking about some of the hits that he's taken since he's been in the game. The hits are a little bit different at the college level is what he said. And yeah, those guys, some of these guys are 6'4", 200 pounds trying to take your head off.
He wants to go quickly here on a rollout, under pressure. Morris stays alive and just gets rid of it. Smartly out of the corner of the end zone. Neto Akpala brought the heat.
There was a throw into the end zone that I think a less mature quarterback may have tried, but that was a very wise decision by Morris to throw it out of bounds. It's one of those that Tim Beck's going to go back and look at the film with him and say, hey, look, these are the decisions that are winning football plays instead of trying to force it.
And it has happened quickly for him. And again, this is just his 2nd career start. Penix back in. He's in motion ahead of 3rd down and goal from the 5. Quick trigger. Houston tumbles down inside the 1. Cam Arnold prevented the touchdown, and now it's 4th down and goal.
And you can almost feel the fans. They're all cheering to lead the offense on the field and go for it on 4th down. Dave Doran is all about it. The thing though, Mike, you have a freshman quarterback, so I don't think you're getting under center in this situation, although he's had time now to practice it. Nope, they're going to be in the shotgun.
Houston split out
trouble
wide.
getting lined up.
On 4th down, quarterback draw, and Morris is stacked up. Boston College stands its ground. Vinny DePalma in on the tackle, and a turnover on downs.
Vinny DePalma is one of those guys that's seen multiple presidential administrations at this Boston College team. He was in there. Couldn't see who the first guy to get there was. It was Neto Akala doing a nice job there on the edge to stack up MJ Morris on a 4th down.
And now Grant Gibson is down for real. Oh man, and slow to get up. We will check on Grant Gibson, the veteran center, when we come back to Raleigh. Grant Gibson just now walked into the injury tent. Looked like he got rolled up on.
Yeah, it did. And the good news is that he walked off, and as he walked further and further, the gait looked better and better. You can see clearly very emotional. Devin Leary patting him on the back. See if he's able to come back in the game.
And now flags fly, multiple of them on the near side.
Ball start. Offense number 67. Penalty is enforced half the distance to the goal. It's still 1st down.
It's on the right tackle, Jack Conley.
And this is the place of the field where on offense it's almost an automatically go on 2 or on 3, try and draw the defense offside, because if you jump, it costs you 6 inches. If they jump, you get 5 yards. It's a pretty good deal.
And even with the 6 inches, Jeff Hafley displeased, shaking his head over on the sideline. So now 99 yards in front of Emmett Moorhead. And Broom trying to get out of the end zone with 2 more flags in, perhaps a face mask on the run.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 10. 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
How about that for breathing room for Boston College? Tanner Ingle with the face mask coming from the right side of your screen. Yeah, clearly grabs the face mask of Broom, and that's a sigh of relief for BC on the offensive side of the ball.
And Shaheem Battle was also a little bit slow to get up for NC. We would appreciate a closed microphone the next time Timothy blows his whistle.
Or a warning.
Pressure coming on Moorhead. Incomplete for Joe Griffin. Derek Pitts in coverage.
That understanding of Pitts, of how Boston College has operated on 1st down and what their answer is to the route, was high level. He knows that Tanner Ingle's coming from the 3rd level. He knows that Boston College doesn't have enough to block him. So he sits on a shallow outbreaking route, causes the incompletion.
Moorhead got off to the fast start. Now he's 9 of 14. Little pop pass for Zay Flowers, well defended. Flag comes in at the end of it. Davin Van strung it out for NC State defensively.
See the motion. It's going to be a hold on Boston College. I think NC State wants to decline it.
Holding, offense number 67. The penalty is declined. It's 3rd down.
Conley again.
Only reason you would accept that penalty is to play the field position game that creates a 3rd and long. And the question is for Moorhead, if you have to get rid of the ball quick, can you find a route? Do you have a route design that's going to allow for a catch and run? Zay Flowers is going to be to the top of the screen.
BC wanted to be conservative in these spots. 5-man rush. Pressure on Moorhead, and down he goes. Travali Price and Peyton Wilson with the sack and a loss of 6.
Some sacks are created by scheme and some are by pure effort, and Travali Price splits the tackle in the guard, and then Peyton Wilson comes across just to make sure that Emmett Moorhead is absolutely finished on the sack. It's a great combo by those two guys, but a really nice rush by Travali Price.
A guy who is stepping into a bigger role because Savion Jackson is out for the year with knee surgery. Suffered the injury up at the JMA Wireless Dome in Syracuse. There, Thomas with a fair catch right at the 50. Hey, our Sunday best this week features the volleyball matchup between Syracuse and Boston College back in Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts. Coverage starts at noon Eastern right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Crossover season. We got all sorts of sports going on at this time of the year in the middle of November.
My head is spinning. Like, it's championship time for sports like volleyball and soccer. Football's getting into the home stretch. Basketball starting. Like, somebody had to tell me that earlier this week.
We got Dallin Cuff working like 4 different sports at once.
We've got sports being played on aircraft carriers.
It's mayhem. On first down, it's a run to the left side. Edwin Kalenge, and on the stop, Michael Allen, the ball carrier.
And for those keeping score at home, Dylan McMahon slides over to the center position. We'll keep you updated on Grant Gibson's status, but McMahon now at center.
And Anthony Carter has come in McMahon's spot at right guard. Second down at 8. Morris finds Keon Lesane to the 35-yard line. A dozen yards. Josh DeBerry on the tackle. That is the sturdy Keon Lesane, his first grab.
How about the throw, though, by MJ Morris? Right between the 1 and the 5. Keon Lesane boxing out, using all that God has gifted him down below to box out on the defensive back and catch that one.
Low snap from McMahon. Morris handled it. And under pressure, Morris floats it just out of the reach of Cole Batson. Darrell Jones in the vicinity. We've got 2 flags down.
Fortunately for NC State, the offensive line, the entire offensive line was about 7 yards down the field.
Ineligible receiver downfield. Offense number 56. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Into the play, MJ Morris. Ooh, it's a low hit on a quarterback. A little slow for the quarterback getting up there.
On the hit from Edwin Kalenge again, the freshman from Montreal. It's been a penalty-filled second quarter.
Yes, it has. It's been a laundry fest. Yellow flags all over the place. And after the start that we had to this game, NC State scoring on its first 2 drives, Boston College responding, sort of settled into a bit of a defensive battle. These defenses doing a better job of confusing and not letting these young quarterbacks have throws, especially the easy throws. All the throws have seemed to be contested as we've gotten into this one.
Again, both quarterbacks in their second career collegiate starts. MJ Morris for NC State, Emmett Moorhead for Boston College, who is showing pressure on Morris here. Michael Allen on the ground. Gets toward the 35. Vinny DePalma in on another tackle. The 5th-year senior captain, you said he has been around for a while, leading tackler for BC.
Yeah, he has. And even though he's not the straight out of central casting for what Jeff Hafley wants, the leadership that he's had on this team as a captain, as a graduate, and just a steady football player, he's been a valuable part of the growth of this Boston College program.
Out of Wayne, New Jersey. Second down for Morris. Deep shot. And that'll be pass interference on Josh DeBerry.
I don't think I'm going to agree with this one when we see it. I mean, Josh DeBerry's kind of just standing there, and Thayer Thomas runs him over. Josh DeBerry has every right to be where he is.
And it looks like that's what he is pleading. The senior nickelback who has moved outside the corner without Amari Jackson, as you said, matched up with Thayer Thomas.
pass interference. Defense number 21, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
All right, watch Josh DeBerry at the bottom. He's planting to try and come back to a route down the stem, and Thayer Thomas just runs into him. I don't agree with that call. I see how the official could see the result and throw the flag, but Josh DeBerry has, I mean, it's his right. It's his space to be there and to break on another route.
And Morris kept it himself, and Marcus Valdez stands his ground. Sixth-year senior, two-time captain, guy playing with a couple of bionic elbows, makes the tackle.
It's funny talking to Jeff Hafley about Marcus Valdez. It's almost like this guy has been banged up everywhere, and he's held together by duct tape and sheer will.
Tim Lukabu said it's a 90-year-old body. And look at Valdez again. Age is just the number. Valdez wraps up Michael Allen, and it brings up third down for NC State.
It's a lot of duct tape and a whole lot of sheer will. I mean, this guy plays as hard as anybody in the conference. Back-to-back plays, he's able to make it. Now you got a 3rd and long. Chris Dunn has been fantastic kicking field goals, but this Boston College, if you can force Dunn to trot out on the field, it's a big win. It's not looking like they're going to bring pressure. Only 3 down linemen. The linebackers' demeanor looks like they're going to drop into coverage.
They do. 3-man rush. Morris on a screen for Allen. Turns upfield, knocked out of bounds by Josh DeBerry. Allen takes it inside the 15 on a gain of 9, and now it's 4th down, and out comes the field goal unit.
It's a nice call by Tim Beck, and one of those moments that puts your heart in your stomach. If you're Boston College, you drop 8 and you almost give up the first down on a screen, but you end up getting the stop.
And so here's Dunn, 18 for 18 this year for the 5th-year senior, mid-season All-American. Dave Doran said this week in no uncertain terms, he's the best kicker in the country. Dunn from 30 yards remains perfect. What a luxury it is to have a guy like that, his 88th career field goal make.
And look, he's not the only guy that's been perfect on the season in terms of field goals, but coming into today, he had attempted 4 more than the next closest player in the country that had 100% field goals, and that's Joshua Carty, the Stanford kicker. I mean, Chris Dunn has been as good as any kicker in the country, and I'm not one to get up and stump for kickers. Let's not confuse that. Kickers, you still are relegated to not being talked about most of the time, unless you can do what Chris Dunn's done. He has been fantastic this season, won them games. I absolutely think he should be the favorite to win the Groza Award.
And Jeff Hafley is heated on the sideline, perhaps, with that pass interference call.
He should be heated about the pass interference call. That was not my favorite call of the day.
Hey, coming up at halftime, we'll get you some updates and analysis. Louisville's at Clemson, who's trying to bounce back after the loss in South Bend. Miami at Georgia Tech as well. That game at halftime.
Clemson-Louisville game, 10-7 as you get down the stretch. Louisville's been great at forcing teams to create turnovers. DJ Uiagalelei has turned the ball over once in this one.
Malik Cunningham is playing banged up as well.
Looks like he's playing with one of those inflated like hospital gloves on his hand. Like he's got a glove on with almost a club around it on his non-throwing hand.
Colin Smith's kickoff is a touchback. Let's go to Taylor.
Back MJ Morris came over to the sideline and he was having his right hand looked at by trainers. He seems fine. He's been on the phone with the coaches in the booth and is good to go. But something this coaching staff on both sidelines has had to keep in mind with their young quarterbacks is keeping them healthy. They told us in meetings this week it's about finding a balance, encouraging them to go with their instincts and not play scared, but also be careful knowing they are limited at that position.
And for Boston College, Taylor, that has been a big story all season, whether it's Moorhead or before that, Phil Jerkovic.
Yeah, it sure has, because of all the shuffles around them, not trying to do too much.
Moorhead to the air on first down from the 25. He throws a dart to the sideline to Zay Flowers, 16 yards out to the 41.
The clock will start on my signal.
Boston College coming out slinging, trying to get points before halftime. NC State gets the ball first after halftime, but a nice throw by Emmett Moorhead.
They started with 1:36 on the clock. They still have 2 timeouts. Moorhead steps up. He ran it all right last weekend against Duke. He slides down for a yard.
That's a young quarterback mistake.
Charge
there.
timeout. Boston College. Their second of the half.
Because as you
30
get,
seconds.
as the clock in your head starts to get closer and closer to, hey, we got to take off and run, you have to find an outlet to throw the ball away so that you're not having to burn that timeout. Because essentially you traded a yard for a timeout, and that's not the trade that you want to make.
Again, a guy who, before last week, his last start was his junior year of high school. They found him because they had a mutual friend, quarterback trainer. They kept sending videos around and to Boston College, and Jeff Hafley said to us last night, they took a little bit of a chance on him. A guy with a ton of talent. You saw it last year. It jumped out at you on the field.
The ball explodes out of his hand. He's got a compact delivery. He's 6'5", and so he looks the part too. You knew the floor was going to be at least a competent quarterback.
1 timeout left. Moorhead escapes pressure somehow, and with his legs, he slides down just outside the 35.
What a job holding on to the football as there was all kinds of disruption around him, and then making it hurt with a run up the middle.
Picks up 20 yards. Still a minute to go until halftime. It's a check down for Pat Garwo. Escapes Peyton Wilson. Trevally Price wrangles him down near the 30.
And very importantly, Garwo gets the first down, so you get that brief stoppage of the clock. 51 seconds, still 1 timeout.
Charge timeout. NC State. Their second of the half. It will be 30 seconds. Please set the game clock to 51 seconds. 5-1.
Back to that Emmett Moorhead run. Watch how he takes care of the football. Drake Thomas comes around and almost swipes it out. Thomas can't quite clip him on the heels.
Please set the game clock to 51 seconds.
It's able to get down.
5-1 on the game clock, please. Thank you.
But there was nobody in the middle of the field because of the blitz, because of the route combination.
Let's go to Taylor.
Both of these quarterbacks, that's really an impressive element of their game so far. Last week, neither of them had an interception. Emmett Moorhead was sacked 5 times and no turnovers. And when I talked to him this week, the word he continued to go back to was composure. He said that that's something he has. He knew he would need to have it tonight. I think it says a lot about the maturity of these 2 young quarterbacks.
Could not agree with you more, Taylor. It's incredible maturity beyond their years.
That's a word we heard a lot from Jeff Hafley as well. Engel on a blitz. Garwo picks it up. Moorhead lofts it. Left side, and it's intercepted. Cyrus Fagan picks it up.
It's a great blitz pickup by BC in the backfield, and Emmett Moorhead just gets a little too greedy, doesn't check the safety, and then overthrows his receiver, and it's a pretty easy interception for Cyrus Fagan. Emmett Moorhead talked about the maturity, just got a little too greedy there, and does it without checking where that safety is, validating that what you saw pre-snap is still the case. Thought there was nobody over the top. It doesn't account for Cyrus Fagan.
Looking for Dino Tomlin, who is engaged in some hand fighting there with Devin Boykin. So a turnover inside of a minute to go until halftime. Houston on the ground. We had just talked about the composure and the poise and the lack of interceptions from both these young quarterbacks.
Yeah, and you're late in the half, so you're going to have to take a chance at some point, but that didn't have to be it. You know, you're moving up in the pocket. You had just avoided a sack earlier. It's a great blitz pickup, and I think what he was thinking is, hey, with the number of guys coming, we likely have one-on-one. But you got to make sure that safety isn't cheating over. There was only one deep route. Cyrus Fagan read it well and got the pick.
So this game got off to a fast start. Touchdown drives on both sides to get it going. MJ Morris was locked in out of the gates. Boston College had the long touchdown drive as well. But a slower pace second quarter. NC State did make it a 2-score game with the Chris Dunn field goal. And the lead is 17-7 for the Wolfpack here at halftime. Let's go down to Taylor.
Thanks, guys. All right, Coach, we've got a battle of two young quarterbacks out here. Your defense with a big interception to close the half. How are they putting pressure on Moorhead?
Well, the D-line and the linebackers early got to him, and then as the game's gone on, we've gotten a little tired in our pass rush. We missed some sacks there in that 2-minute drive. So just got to finish plays.
A new school record, 17 consecutive home wins is potential here tonight. What do you need to do in the second half to make history?
We just got to finish plays. You execute. You go out there and play football the way we're supposed to. Finish drives. We get stuffed on the 1-yard line. We can't do that. We got to finish with points.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was a big fourth down stop for Boston College, backed up toward the end zone. So 17-7 is the halftime lead for NC State, ranked 16th in the country. Coming up, the guys are out in Syracuse. Jordan Cornette leading the 5-man group. Let's get it out to JC and company.
Mike, thank you very much. Coach Mark Richt. We got Eric McLean. I'm your host, Jordan Cornette. Pack leading a plucky BC 17-7. Coach, we just heard from Coach Dorn. He wants to see his guys finish plays. But defensively, 7 TFLs, 3 sacks. They've been pretty dominant there. He wants more.
Yeah, they've been dominant all year long, #1 in the league in a lot of categories. Most important one is points scored defensively, and they're playing great right this minute. They're getting after him. Moorhead has had some good moments, but the more pressure you put on him, the more he's throwing the ball up for grabs.
And these guys, really just playing at such a high level defensively. That's what we expected to see. But, I think what Coach is so mad about is not finishing the drill there at the end of the game where you punch in points. You need that on the 1-yard line. Rely on that big offensive line. Maybe let your running back do a little bit extra if you go a heavy package there, JC. So that's why I think he's angry. These guys are playing a nice game, though.
When MJ Morris is in a game, the Pack are undefeated. It's only been 2 games, but he's playing well here, still taking care of the football. 8 touchdowns for his career, 0 interceptions. That 0 looms large. What are you seeing from him in the first half?
Really just the good decision-making. I think that's what the story tells you when you see the lack of bad plays, the lack of bad throws that he even attempts. This guy is just really in sync with his wide receivers, with the big tight end right there. And, Coach, to see that from such a young guy, as you see kind of the run game here, kind of the last piece, as I mentioned, of this offense, that's where I think he can continue to take it to another level.
You mentioned him making good decisions. There's a play towards the end of the half where he's scrambling to his right. Looks like a young quarterback would throw it in the end zone, try to throw a touchdown. He throws it out of bounds. He makes a smart decision, and they're being blessed for that.
Let's give some flowers to a guy who deserves it, no pun intended. Zay Flowers, in that first half, going for over 50 yards receiving, has become Boston College's all-time leader in receiving yards. Guy continues to fight. He continues to achieve. He'll look to try and make some noise in the second half as BC thinking upset. We are taking you up pregame to FSU and Syracuse in what will be a very lively scene thanks to Syracuse putting a smack dab in the student section. We are super excited for tonight, no question. Here, Trent Penix. Penix gives you 6. Pack leads 17-7. More halftime report on the other side. Welcome back into the halftime report. MJ Morris is a third Pack player with a passing touchdown and a rushing touchdown in the first quarter over the last 15 seasons, joining Jacoby Brissett and Russell Wilson. He now has a stat line of 8 touchdowns responsible for and 0 turnovers this season. Pretty good stuff. They lead by 10 points at the half. If this NC State team wants to keep this home win streak alive and extend it to 17, what do they need to do in the second half?
Yeah, I think it's as simple as just locking back in, really focusing. There was such a, I think, attitude of we're going to dominate these guys, and it got a little interesting, there for a little bit. Separate by 10, really get back on the little things. Should have scored that touchdown on the goal line where they went for it. I think if they just refocus, they'll be fine.
I think the leadership of Thomas Wilson Moore at the linebacker position.
Drizzy?
Take my man Drizzy.
I agree.
He was listed in her loss earlier.
Should take care of business and squeeze the life out of BC's offense.
Squeeze the life here in Syracuse. A play on words. The guy is masterful, just like Drake. His LP coming out very soon. Saturday, Zay Day. Soon to be payday one day. Zay Flowers finds the end zone. They trail by 10. Enjoy a second half We'll see you post-game.
We welcome you back to ACC Network Football, getting ready for the start of the third quarter. 16th ranked NC State leads Boston College 17-7. Roddy Jones, Mike Monaco back with you upstairs. We'll check in with Taylor Davis in a moment. And it was a fast start really on both sides, but especially for NC State, and then slowed down in that first half.
Yeah, it did. I mean, after the first couple possessions, thought we were in for a shootout here at Carter-Finley. But the defense has really settled in. For NC State, though, MJ Morris really got them going early. Hit a couple of big plays deep. Scored touchdowns in the first two possessions, and then it was only a field goal from there, but the young quarterbacks have done pretty well.
Yeah, check out some of the highlights from that half. You would definitely talk about what MJ Morris did, those throws to Trent Penix and company, and yeah, things worked out pretty well out of the gates, but BC got the big fourth down stop, and they hang around. Chris Dunn, the field goal right before halftime, and the Emmett Moorhead interception costly as well. Let's go down to Taylor.
Jeff Hafley at halftime, he said, I really feel like we were driving and gaining momentum down there toward the end of the half. He said defensively we had some big stops. We were keeping MJ Morris off rhythm toward the end of the half. He said, of course, when you start a game and they're scoring on their first two drives, it's a little deflating. He said, I feel like we caught up with the speed and physicality. It just took a little longer than we wanted. Now, offensively, he does want to establish a run game. He said that's the best case scenario for Emmett Moorhead to settle in and get that pass game going off the run game.
Yeah, Taylor, just 2 rush yards the entire first half for Boston College. There has not been a lot doing on the ground. Morris to throw on the rollout in the direction of Penix, incomplete. No Grant Gibson out there for NC State offensively to begin this second half, so it still is Dylan McMahon at center.
Went down with an injury late in the first. Taken into the tent, and we have not seen him since. This offensive line, there's been such cohesion. Haven't had to rotate a bunch of guys in, but Grant Gibson, you just hate it for him on senior day.
Multi-year captain and 6th-year senior. Houston on the ground. On second down, he picks up a few yards. Marcus Valdez, the tackle back to Taylor.
Grant Gibson injury. Unfortunately, I don't have an official word from the school. As of right now, they are still considering him questionable. But I did see him come out of the locker room during halftime with a teammate, was attempting to, push off out of the stance, do a little bit of jogging. Definitely seemed uncomfortable. I think that's why they still have him at questionable, but he's a fighter and he'll try.
Encouraging even that he's testing.
You're exactly right, because the way he got up and the way he was so emotional when he went down, you were concerned about the worst. And now NC State's kind of shooting itself in the foot here.
Penalty.
That first drive.
It's still third down.
So we told you, a ton of penalties in that second quarter. Now NC State backs up from 3rd and 7 to 3rd and 12. And boy, if BC can come out of the gates and get a stop here, that'd be big.
It would be huge. Not only for the confidence of this team, but they get pretty good field position out of this.
So 3rd down and a dozen from the 15 for Morris. Taking a shot up the seam and just out of the reach of Penix, who, boy, he is favoring that left arm still.
Yeah, he really is. I mean, every opportunity we see him, he's doing it. But watch on the outside. I mean, Daryl Jones is open. So is Trent Penix. I can't fault the decision there at all. Just need a little bit better throw. But you saw Penix as he's reaching out. He's not reaching out with that left hand, that left arm. It's only the right. That shoulder seems to really be bothering him.
MJ Morris came out of the gates last week in his first career start. He overthrew a few, maybe a little bit charged up in that first start, with an overthrow of Penix there in the first minute of this third quarter. Caden Noonkester gets it away. Another booming kick. Back toward the 35. And Jalen Gill lost the football. NC State pounces on it.
I thought Jalen Gill had the right idea, trying to split the Gunners, being aggressive on this one, but the ball security just isn't there. It's a nice job by Keon Lassane of poking it out. See 15 coming across, doing a really nice job of getting it out of there. And DeMarcus Jones with the recovery. Special teams for NC State coming through in the clutch.
Redshirt junior backup running back DeMarcus Jones pounces on it. Lassane pried it free. And how about that change in field position? Now in plus territory. Morris with a stiff arm for Okpala. He's spun down by Jones and Woodby toward the 35-yard line.
EJ Morris limping a little bit when he got up there. He's taking some hits today. But a nice stiff arm on the defensive end from the young freshman.
You said earlier he had to adjust to all the hits he's taking at this level.
Yes, he did. Had a chance to catch up with him yesterday, and you could see his face like, it's different up here.
Freshman from Carrollton, Georgia. To the air on second down. Risky throw in tight quarters. Batson off a deflection. And there is a flag down. Elijah Jones was in coverage for Boston College, matched up with Daryl Jones.
Holding. Defense number 20. 10-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Elijah Jones had contact early. That's another one. I don't see the hold there. I mean, early on, his arms kind of wrapped around, but it didn't look like he was hindering him at all. It was just physical play. It's another one where the official has a really tough view of it, and it appeared that his arm was around him, but I don't know if it impeded him all that much.
Morris wanted to tuck on first down, and there's nowhere to go. Neto Okpala and Chris Banks in on the tackle. It's a loss of a yard for Morris.
It's a good decision by Morris because they wanted to go on a quick out to the field, and it was well covered by Boston College. Ends up tucking it and wisely tries to get what he can. It ends up being a loss, but it was a very good decision.
Now a wave of reinforcements come in on the defensive line for Tenlukabu and Jeff Hafley. Again, a group that Jeff Hafley said he was disappointed in for the first time all season last week against Duke. Now we've got a flag down. Looks like another false start. We've had 11 combined penalties, 7 for Boston College in this one.
False start. Offense number 52. 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
That's the right tackle, Tim McKay. Third in the third quarter already.
It's been sort of a sleepy game after those first few drives. A little bit of excitement at the end of the half with Boston College's drive down the field. Let's see, that's Trent Penix with the entire left side is being aided.
Yeah. Shoulder, ankle, the whole deal. He watches Jordan Houston keep it on the ground. Cam Horsley in on the tackle, 3 yards, and now third down and long.
You get the feeling in this one that if Boston College, to make it easier on themselves, the defense is going to have to create something, whether it's a turnover, possibly even a score. But you've got a freshman in a third and long situation. They have not been eager to bring pressure in these situations.
And they've had tough field position offensively all game. They only have a 3-man rush. Morris flush to his right. And Morris throws to the sideline for Jones. That's incomplete, rather Porter Rooks. So now it's 4th down and 13. And Chris Dunn trudges out.
Chris Dunn's not trudging out. He's jogging. Dare I say strutting? McGregoring. He's got the Edwin Diaz trumpets playing, which objectively as a Braves fan, it's the worst entrance for a closer in the league.
Wow, hot takes. Rowdy Jones.
Can't like it.
He got caffeinated at halftime, folks.
The arch nemesis.
From 45 yards. Trumpets and all for Chris Dunn. To do it again. 20 for 20 this season for Chris Dunn. He's got the last 6 points in this game.
Makes Chris Dunn the ACC career leader in field goals. Congratulations to the kicker.
Coming up, 8 o'clock Eastern, right here on ACCN and the ESPN app. Primetime matchup. Number 23, Florida State, is at Syracuse. The Orange trying to bounce back with or without, we'll see, Garrett Schrader. They're going up against a guy who's had a wonderful season for the Noles.
How about that? I mean, right now as it stands, that's the second team All-ACC quarterback right there, behind only Drake May. He has been fantastic this year. And he hasn't run as much as he has in the past. He's been doing it mostly with his arm. That Florida State offense is one of the absolute most fun to watch in the league.
You love their skill guys.
I love their skill guys. Well, they just have such a compliment at receiver. You know, Johnny Wilson's had big games. Michael Pittman's had big games. You see Malik McClain and Deuce Spann make plays, but the running backs, even without Trayshawn Ward, I mean, Trey Benson's been fantastic. Lawrence Toafili and his versatility, and there's nobody that manages multiple backs better in the country than Mike Norvell. Just look at what he did at Memphis.
They're coming off a boat racing of Miami, 45-3 for Florida State last weekend in the rivalry game. Well, here in Raleigh, early on third quarter, Boston College has it, down by 13 after the history-making Chris Dunn field goal. Alex Broom on the ground, and Taylor told you the goal is to establish a running game. There's nothing there for Broom against Peyton Wilson.
I want you to watch Isaiah Moore destroy this block. Isaiah Moore, right in the middle, number one. That is block destruction. When you have a puller come around and you don't just take him on in the hole, you absolutely make him feel it, pay the price. The next snap's back, he goes right back into the running back. Love that from the middle linebacker.
232 pounds of a brick wall. On second down, a screen set up for Broom. And he navigates out shy of the 35-yard line. Tanner Engel in on the tackle and sets up third and short.
Good call by John McNulty going with the screen. The offensive line gets out in front. But now on a 3rd and 3 or less. Zay Flowers only had 5 touches in the first half. And if I'm Boston College, you're finding at least 7 or 8 in the second half for him.
They've got him slot right after 8 yards to Broom on the screen. BC 0 of 6 on third down. Tough throw to the sideline, incomplete. Dino Tomlin was out of bounds. Tanner Engel in coverage. We'll see if there's another look at this. But right now, the punt team coming out for Boston College.
That was as bang as it gets. He definitely secures it. Watch the feet. That left foot comes down first. That's a catch. That's a catch. Dino Tomlin, all he does is come down with the football.
The ruling on the field of an incomplete pass is under further review.
Dino Tomlin, the redshirt junior, yes, the son of Mike Tomlin. To our eye, we think a catch. We will check on the review when we come back to Raleigh. The call's been overturned back here in Raleigh third quarter. Dino Tomlin's got 7 catches now this season. They've all been tough, and this is a gem.
It's perfection at the college level. You have to go up and get the football. The left foot comes down a fraction of a second before the right hits out of bounds. Dino Tomlin, he lit up, or Jeff Hafley lit up when talking about him. Says, look, this is a guy that just consistently grinds. And every time we talk about playing guys that deserve it, that play hard, that make plays down the field, the entire offensive staff just kept coming back to Dino Tomlin. Made a tough catch last week, and that was a big third down conversion.
Yeah, he's that first name that kept popping up for Jeff Hafley and John McNulty, the offensive coordinator, on that side of the ball. When, look, in a 2-7 season, you want the guys that are going to bring it with the attitude and the effort, and Dino Tomlin has. First down on a third down, and now fresh chains for BC. And Alex Broom, making guys miss, takes it out for 9 yards toward midfield.
This NC State defense is so good that I know Jeff Hafley said he wanted to establish the run, and I think that's established the threat of the run, because this is going to be tough to run against this defense. But the key is going to be finding playmakers in space, Zay Flowers and Alex Broom in particular, and then guys like Dino Tomlin and Joe Griffin making plays down the field.
Pat Garwo's got 3 carries for -5 yards, so it's been a lot of Broom here out of halftime. It's a slant for Flowers, another touch, Matched up with Aiden White and Zay Flowers with a first down to the 39-yard line.
You know, little things on routes like that, the catch in close quarters, and then the ability to keep his balance through the first contact. Those are things that impress NFL scouts that aren't going to show up in the books.
The ACC's leader in receiving yards. Quick throw, left side. That's caught by Taji Johnson. Just his 6th career catch, matched up with Shaheem Battle for 4 yards. We talk about Zay Flowers at the next level. Jeff Hafley is stumping for him, and why not?
I think he is going to be a fantastic pro. You know, the comparisons are often tough to pin down, but I think he could be used like a Deebo Samuel, where you move him around all over the place and maybe even put him in the backfield at times.
Screen, right side, and nothing doing. Cyrus Fagan snuffs it out.
We're talking to Tony Gibson about Cyrus Fagan. He was funny, saying, look, he is an elite communicator, but all you have to do is spend about 30 seconds with him to know that he does not stop talking. You can see him dancing there on the hash. I mean, he is fired up after making that play. But his ability to come in, transferred from Florida State before last season, missed most of last year, but he is a true leader on this defense.
Dancing his way into a 3rd down and 6 for BC. Flowers back on the field. Pressure comes. Flowers underneath, across the middle, and Flowers down the sideline for a touchdown. He is electric. 35 yards to the house.
This is no slight to any player on NC State's team, but Boston College knew they had hope because they have the best player on the field. And Emmett Moorhead, with the pocket collapsing around him, you get it to Zay Flowers. The throw is good enough where he can make a play after the catch. You saw the speed, the elusiveness. Man, Zay Flowers is fun.
Mel Kiper has him as the number 9 wide receiver in the country. With all due respect to Mel, boy, Zay Flowers is as good as it gets.
Mel, there ain't 8 guys better than this. Just nice blocking up the sideline or down the field by Boston College as well. But there's times, Mike, this season where Boston College gets Zay Flowers the ball in open space, especially in catch and run situations like that, where he's got a head of steam, and he's moving at a different speed than everybody else. The game is moving at a different speed for him than everybody else. It's like he's unlocked the matrix. Just his ability to accelerate, his ability to change directions, clocked at 22.5 miles an hour. He is as fun as there is to watch in this league. And I think as we get into the postseason draft hype stuff, he's going to run extremely well at the combine. His ball skills are on display. But stuff like that's what makes him special.
Liam Connor's kickoff, taken out by Julian Gray. Out toward the 30. Let's go down to Taylor.
Yeah, guys, I mean, obviously Zay Flowers has been noticed across the league, right? But he was actually noticed heavily by this NC State coaching staff. Dave Doran actually told us he was so high on this kid, he was going to let him play wherever he wanted, both sides of the ball, any way to get him here. But talk about loyalty. Obviously, he had a lot of options after last year to leave Boston College, but he chose to stay. And Coach Hafley said he has been the example. He shows guys what it means to practice, what it means to block, what it means to film study. He is the standard.
Zay Flowers turned down 6 figures to stay at Boston College. Through the grapevine and the back channels, there were teams offering a ton of money for him to go to their schools, and he has been rewarded this season by Boston College.
MJ Morris kept it on the ground. He runs it out to the 37, picks up 7 yards. CJ Burton in on the tackle, a guy who's been banged up over the course of this season, hadn't played the last 4 games.
One injury.
And now Owen Stoudemire, the redshirt freshman defensive tackle, is down for BC. I mean, we're talking like $600,000.
This is better than me. I would have turned it down. We'll be right back after this.
Back in Raleigh at Carter-Finley Stadium, it's a 6-point game between 2-win Boston College and the 16th ranked team in the country, NC State, which got a field goal earlier this quarter out of halftime after BC fumbled on the punt return with Jalen Gill. Got the ball at the 37-yard line for MJ Morris and company on second down and short.
Thomas has been fairly quiet. Looks like NC State's going to get man-to-man. They want to give MJ Morris something downfield.
And 2 catches, 4 targets for Thayer Thomas, top receiver for the Pack. On the ground with Michael Allen. And he's got a first down. Vinny DePalma in on the tackle. Well, you talk about guys for the future as well. Michael Allen getting a ton of run. Demi Sumo Karngbe banged up. And Allen was their top recruit in our ESPN 300. Up the seam and incomplete. And Thayer Thomas draws a flag. It was Jason Maitre in coverage, and Morris was looking in just that direction, Rod.
Yeah, and Maitre's moved to that nickel spot because of the injury to Amari Jackson.
Defense number 3. Automatic first down at the spot of the foul.
Amari Jackson out at the corner spot. Josh DeBerry has to bump out to that corner, so Maitre plays that nickel, and Thayer Thomas got him twisted up a little bit. He ended up grabbing.
Normally the free safety for Boston College. 8th penalty for the Eagles. Cost them 9 yards out to the 49-yard line for NC State. Morris lost the football. Neto Okpala jumps on it for Boston College, and there's the defense with a turnover it needed for the Eagles.
The ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by the defense. First down.
The offense goes down and scores, gets a big play from Zay Flowers, and for the first time we've seen the freshman make the mistake. He pulls the football, and as he comes out, just doesn't secure it, and it bounces right to Okpala. Could not have asked for it more on a platter. BC had that well defended no matter what, but there's the momentum, there's the turnover that they've been looking for.
And now they've got their best starting field position so far tonight. It's a throw for Moorhead to Broom, and he gets blown up. Shaheem Battle makes the tackle. It's a loss of 2.
Even if Boston College, no matter what happens on this drive, you're still going to flip field position here, but man, just think of the momentum that this team would get if they're able to put together a drive. Zay Flowers is the hot hand. You got to find him early in this drive to get you going.
Split out wide to the boundary, top of your screen. Moorhead, the last 2 drives, is 8 for 8 through the air. He wants Flowers, and Zay Flowers makes a jumping catch for a first down. Matched up on Tanner Engel, and Zay Flowers is heating up here in the 3rd.
You know, I love receivers where you can just see the competitiveness at all times. This is Zay Flowers football. Soon as he goes up, he knows he's going to get it. And the suddenness, the twitch to get that high that quickly. I mean, I'm telling you, man, I don't think you could find 5 receivers in the country better than this dude. Now, he's going to be knocked a little bit for his size. You see Tanner Engel down. He's going to be knocked a little bit for his size. He's listed at 5'10", but
clock to 40 seconds.
Look at some of the elite receivers in the league. I mean, especially guys that can really run like Zay Flowers, who are great after the catch. You don't have to be 6 foot. He plays bigger than 5'10", and after the catch, there's not a better receiver in the country than that dude.
We still have over 20 minutes left in this game. He's got 7 for 130 and 2 tutties.
And you know what? He hasn't touched the ball enough, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, by the end of this game, if I'm John McNulty, I'd be shooting for 13, 14 receptions if you can get it to him, especially as you get down the stretch. You need your best player have the ball in his hands as much as possible because he is electric.
They want 15 touches per game for him. They stated that in the offseason. They got him that grab, his 7th catch of the game. But again, Tanner Engel is down here for NC State. And remember, the Wolfpack secondary is already without Tyler Baker-Williams, who's got a foot injury that keeps him off the field on senior day. And now Engel, the free safety, hobbles off.
Hope that it's just some cramping. Like he was grabbing anything, trying to stretch it out. But you're right, start to get a little thin in that secondary in terms of guys who have played significant minutes. Jakeem Harris is going to come in and play that spot that Tanner Ingle just vacated.
Tony Gibson says Jakeem Harris 6 and red. He's their do-it-all back there. He's played free safety, strong safety, and nickel this year. He's facing a very hot Emmett Morehead through the air. On first down, pressure on Morehead. Hit as he threw. And a flag down. Ruled incomplete.
Holding. Offense number 53. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
It's on the right guard, Dwayne Alec.
They were so excited about this offensive line playing together for the first time this season. This offensive line, second consecutive game that all the guys started. You could see Devin Van just kind of ran over Alec, who grabbed him on the way down.
Again, 8 different starting O-line combinations in 10 games this season. So BC backs up to the 45 on 1st and 20. Thomas runs free again, and the pass too hot to handle for Alex Broom. I mean, coming into this year, they thought, yeah, they absolutely did. And coming into this year, I mean, they thought the line was going to look a lot different. They knew they were going to have departures. Tyler Vrabel elected not to come back, and so all these studs from last year not there, but then all the injury issues this year.
Yeah, you were supposed to have Christian Mahogany back, but in the preseason he tears an ACL. And then there's been, of the guys that were supposed to fill those roles, Kevin Klein out for the year, Christian Mahogany, Finn Durstein out as well. They just had a ton of injuries.
Morehead down the middle, complete to Gill. To the 30-yard line, 16 yards through the air. It was Harrison coverage.
One thing I think Emmett Morehead has done really well is he has found soft spots and zones and thrown the ball well. And when they've gone man-to-man, Zay Flowers has done most of the damage. But when they go zone, Emmett Morehead has read it well and found guys.
Boykin comes free on 3rd down, and it's intercepted by Peyton Wilson. The pressure pays off for the Pack.
We have not seen the freshman moment a lot in this game from these two young quarterbacks, but this is just a poor decision by Emmett Morehead. He's getting tackled. He sees Alex Broom out of the corner of his eye and just slings it.
The ruling on the field of an interception is under further review.
But Peyton Wilson is able to come up with the interception, at least off the first look. I didn't think there was any doubt about it. I thought it hit him kind of in the chest, but they're going to review it.
Peyton Wilson looking pretty confident in the ruling as well. The 5th-year senior linebacker, part of the great defense for NC State that has forced so many turnovers this year. Would be their 16th interception. They came into tonight top 3 in the country in interceptions as a defense.
A little surprised that they're reviewing. It must have been a little closer than we initially thought. Well, off of that, I'm not sure you can overturn it. You have to have indisputable video evidence called an interception on the field. And it does look like there's a bobble there, but I don't know that the ball ever gets to the ground.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I think that's going to at least stand based on the 2 looks that we have seen so far.
And so if it does, it's like you said, a freshman moment from Emmett Morehead. Would be his 2nd interception of the game. Had one in plus territory, headed toward halftime when BC was trying to wrangle some points out of that situation. And John McNulty, his offensive coordinator, said to us last night, look, we know there's going to be turnovers in this game. It's about getting past those moments and putting them behind you when they do.
Yeah, they've been able to move the ball today, which has been impressive.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. First down, NC State.
and it's frustrating, but this is the part of complementary football that you have to have with a young player at quarterback. Just had a little bit of an aggressive moment that he would like to have back with that throw, trying to dump it out to Broom. Now you need your defense to pick you up.
Second turnover for Boston College this quarter. Marcus Valdez brings down Jordan Houston on the ground for 3 yards on first down. So how does MJ Morris respond after his fumble earlier this quarter as well? Conservative play call to begin from Tim Beck.
It had some success in the first half with that play. Hitting Boston College up the middle, didn't have it there, but I like them going back to it.
Houston on the ground again. Breaks free. And Jordan Houston's got a first down. 11 yards.
Even without Grant Gibson in the middle, this offensive line so experienced creating a hole for Jordan Houston.
On first down from the 39. Morris into a tight window. Incomplete. He wanted Porter Rooks.
That was one of those that makes you hold your breath. If it's a perfect throw, then he probably completes it, and it's beautiful. But when that ball goes up in the air, everyone's just hoping that it finds the grass and not a defender in white.
Guy who was very accurate when they were platooning between Morris and Jack Chambers, and that's what gave Morris the nod the rest of the way in that win a couple of weeks ago over Virginia Tech. Houston out of the backfield lost his footing in front of Cam Arnold. And so it's just 2 yards, and now it's third down and long for this NC State offense.
It's unfortunate for NC State. That it should have been at least third and short, maybe even a first down if Jordan Houston keeps his feet. But I think Boston College has actually gotten simpler as they've gotten better against MJ Moore. It's been a lot more man-free on early downs. They'll mix it up here likely on third down. See how much pressure they decide to bring. NC State subbing, so they're going to hold for Boston College, allow them to.
Showing some pressure off both edges. They bring 4. Morris stands in and finds there Thomas. It's a first down to the always reliable sixth-year senior.
He's one-on-one with Josh DeBerry, and you say a tight end's a quarterback's best friend, but the 6-year senior is the freshman's best friend. It's like his little security blanket. Well, I guess it'd be an old tattered security blanket. I'm not saying Thayer Thomas is tattered, but if you're talking blankets, 6 years, a long time.
It's been through some battles on the couch. Michael Allen on the ground on first down with a good gain. Takes it toward the 40 with 8 yards there. You think about Thayer Thomas and Drake Thomas on their senior day and what they have been through together through these years, and the player Thayer Thomas has become for the Wolfpack. Allen brought down. Kalenge and Chibuzi Onwuka in on the tackle. And now another third down for the Wolfpack.
That last third down, they brought a little bit of pressure. It was well picked up by NC State. We've seen NC State go a couple different directions on these third and mediums, though. We've seen them go option a couple of times. They've rolled MJ Morris out. And if I'm Boston College, I'm going back to that man-free look. Just challenge NC State's receivers to get open against man coverage, and then you can play some games up front.
Porter Rooks in motion pre-snap. On third down, screen, and read well by Elijah Jones. No gain, Jones in on the tackle, and now it's fourth down. And here comes the punt unit for NC State.
They anticipated pressure and they got it. It's a really nice individual effort by Elijah Jones, tracing the steps of the receiver and blowing up the tunnel screen. This has got the feel of one of those games, Mike, where it's going to come down to something, either a special teams play, maybe a pick six. It's one of those games that's played on the margins, so the smallest of mistakes could cost you.
And mistakes here. When these refs
False
throw
start.
Flags, they throw them in
number
bunches
34.
together.
5-yard penalty. It's still fourth down.
They're synchronized, baby.
They're like in unison. They got ESP. Maybe they got ESPN. Throwing flags at the same time.
It'll back up Caden Newcaster, 5 yards.
Actually doesn't hurt NC State very much. Kind of gives them a little more breathing room.
Again, Newcaster stepped in last week against Wake Forest for Shane McDonough, who's got a thigh bruise, but they've been pretty high on Newcaster anyway. Handles a low snap, puts the nose down. And Newcaster will pin Boston College inside the 10. Down to Taylor.
Guys, another thing that Jeff Hafley mentioned to me at halftime was that he spoke with Emmett Moorhead about the different looks that this NC State defense is giving him. He said, look, they are bringing a lot of people at him, and he's having to make decisions on the fly. And he said, I don't think we can overstate the fact that for both of these quarterbacks, every single snap is a learning curve for them. But defensive coordinator Tony Gibson told us that that was going to be NC State's game plan. He said, look, he made some throws last week, but we are going to make him work for it. He is not going to have the same access against this NC State defense, and I think after that interception, the coaches reiterated that point to Emmett.
Yeah, you're right, Taylor.
He was under pressure when he threw it. On the ground, headed toward the end of this third quarter. Isaiah Moore makes the tackle on Pat Garwo for a loss of 1.
You know, Mike, to Taylor's point, last week against Duke, in terms of what a quarterback sees, it was like being in algebra. Like, you kind of know, yeah, it's difficult to decipher it sometimes, but eventually you can solve for why. Well, this is like calculus, where you're having sine, tangent, cos, like all of the things on the TI-89 you're getting from NC State. Not only are you getting pressure, but you got to figure out, all right, where is it coming from? Who's that guy? Am I throwing hot off him? And Emmett Moorhead seeing a lot of different stuff.
Of the third quarter.
Spoken like a sharp mathematical mind who went to an engineering school.
Held the TI-89 a lot. That's it.
Rowdy Jones, folks. We go to the fourth. Chris Dunn has been automatic. Cyrus Fagan dancing, but Zay Flowers electric. 6-point game to the fourth after this. 8 targets plus a carry for Zay Flowers, and it still might not be enough.
He's the best offensive player in the league. I mean, when he gets the ball in his hands, he's incredibly explosive. He's been competitive with the ball in the air. They can't cover him in man-to-man coverage. And Tony Gibson knew that was going to be a challenge coming in. The key has been getting to Emmett Moorhead, which they've done consistently.
We start the fourth quarter with Boston College backed up and incomplete on second down. Isaiah Moore dropped the shoulder on George Takis, and it's 3rd and long.
Talked about passing the calculus test. Well, he's going to have to find the derivative of this defense on 3rd down. Is NC State going to bring pressure? They're going to drop 8. And what they've had a lot of success with, Mike, is actually not bringing more than 4 or 5, but the twists and the stunts up front have challenged this offensive line. So can they sort all of that out and give Emmett Moorhead time?
Just 4. Still pressure, and Moorhead finds Gill for a first down across the middle. Gill beats Tanner Engel for 14 yards.
You've seen the mistakes from the freshman. This is a glimpse of how special he can be. He can't step into this throw. He's got nowhere to step. He's got to throw from his base and just sling it with his arm. And he puts it on the mark in tight coverage. I mean, that's special stuff right there.
Pure arm strength, what is it?
Pure arm strength and core strength to be able to still put enough behind that throw.
He moved the chains for the Eagles, and now Moorhead out of the reach of Zay Flowers on a screen as they try to force feed their best player. Down to Taylor.
Impressive about that 3rd down conversion. NC State is a top 20 3rd down defense. It's something they hang their hat on. But in addition to that, they are currently in the end zone where the student section is. And during that 4th quarter break, the red light show and the music, this crowd got hyped up right before just a clutch throw.
Yeah, it was, Taylor. And Boston College has struggled on 3rd downs, particularly in conference play. That was big time.
Second worst converting 3rd downs in the ACC. They did there. Now on 2nd down. Moorhead goes down. Look who it is again, Drake Thomas in the backfield.
Man, Moorhead's got to have that sense to throw the ball away and mitigate the negative play. But once again, the pass rush by Drake Thomas, look at the move. He tries to rip underneath, spin move to throw him off. Zay Flowers open down the field as was Pat Garwo underneath, but with Moorhead having to move up in the pocket and then get around, wasn't able to find him.
4th sack for NC State. Thomas beating Jack Conley there.
Playcock's running down.
Got it off in time. Moorhead under heat from Thomas again. And he's ushered out of bounds by Peyton Wilson. And Boston College has to punt the first 90-plus seconds of this 4th quarter.
You know, if you're NC State, it doesn't matter what the offense does the rest of the game. This defense is where this team hangs its hat. And you've got to be feeling like, hey, we should win this game no matter what at this point. Lead in the 4th quarter. And we were talking about Edwin Diaz earlier. I mean, this defense is like a great closer. If you've got a lead late, you should be able to finish it, and that's exactly why. The ability to create negative plays and pressure.
And forwards Danny Longman back onto the field from right by his own end zone. There, Thomas signals for the fair catch, and NC State will have great field position once again. They've got the great D. Now what can the offense do after this? Second career start for the true freshman, the 19-year-old MJ Morris.
Hasn't lit it up quite as much as he did in the previous 2 games, but in the first half, he was excellent. That throw to Trent Penix was big time, and he showed the ability with his legs as well. Penix out front, he's able to dive into the end zone or get into the end zone. He's had some stretches of incompletions, but all in all, aside from the fumble, has really played a nice game, being able to move the offense pretty consistently. He's completed his last 3 passes. Again, hasn't put up the yardage that he has the past couple of games, but still a solid performance from the freshman.
He's rushed for 30 yards as well. 188 rushing yards for NC State. Morris got stripped by Valdez. And BC pounces on the football.
Ruling on the field that they fumbled, recovered by the defense. First down.
Vinny DePalma comes up with it. And the second turnover committed by MJ Morris this half.
Well, this one's created by the pressure of Marcus Valdez, and it's not really on the freshman. I mean, that's coming from your blind side. He sees a play down the field, and he's just trying to throw it, but clearly out. And Boston College, how about this defense? The pass rush by the captain, Marcus Valdez. And now this offense, you got to feel like points have to come on this one. Great field position once again.
There's so much talk around BC about the future and the youngsters. It's a 6th-year senior who pops it out, a 5th-year senior who recovers it. Now short field for Emmett Moorhead, starting at the +40. A screen to Dino Tomlin, who probes for about 7 yards. Tanner Engel in on the tackle with Shaheem Battle.
I love that. You get an off defensive back, you have 2 receivers out wide, you're getting pressure off the edge, just toss it out and get some positives on a first down. We've seen Boston College on previous drives try and run it on first down to no avail, so you're setting up a 2nd and 10. Now you've got a 2nd and 2. Much different feeling.
And when you can't rush it, that's sort of an extension of the running game.
You're exactly right. It's a great position to take a shot to Zay Flowers if you want it to.
Screen right side, and Tomlin the rare drop. Incomplete. Brings up 3rd down and 2.
They had it again. Well set up. And if you're Boston College, they don't get these situations often. The great field position, the 3rd and short. I think it's 4 down territory. You got to go for it. So you're going to Zay Flowers once, if not twice here on this one. The question is, do you want to try and push it down the field when you have a situation you'll get a 4th and short?
Flowers is slot right, top of your screen. Devin Boykin matched up on him in pre-snap movement on the right side of the BC offensive line.
Start. Offense number 63. 5-yard penalty. It's still 3rd down.
Yeah, it should be 53. Dwayne Alec, and that is costly.
Yeah, it's, I mean, unbelievably costly. And Dave Doran has implored this fan base over and over to show up and show out. I've played in Carter-Finley, and it is as loud as any place in the conference when you have people here. Not entirely full, but when they get excited, it can really throw off a young offense.
And they are right on top of you.
Yep. tight sidelines, the right structure to keep all of the sound in that bowl.
10th penalty on Boston College tonight. 3rd down and 7 now. Moorhead, incomplete. Intended for Taji Johnson without any separation against Battle, and even with the penalty, still 4-down territory.
I don't think you go for it here. I mean, you'd be giving NC State great field position. Your defense has played pretty well. You've only given up the 3 points in the second half. I mean, what's your level of faith that the offense gets it? They haven't been great on 3rd and any distance, but it does look like they're going to go for it.
Zay Flowers, bottom of your screen. Shaheem Battle's on him. Jalen Gill not on the field. On 4th down, pressure comes. Moorhead, a deep shot for Flowers, incomplete. Shaheem Battle in coverage, up to the task against Flowers, and a turnover on downs.
Zay Flowers wins on the route, and it's tight coverage. You're going to need almost a perfect pass. But if you keep it in bounds and give Zay Flowers a chance, I like your chances. And if you push it up the field and keep it in bounds, you probably score a touchdown because Zay Flowers had Shaheem Battle beat. But now it's going to be on this defense again. I don't entirely blame Jeff Hafley for going for it there, but I think the field position game, you want to give this opportunity, give your offense as many opportunities of good field position as you can. Big stop by NC State on defense, though, after the turnover.
You said all the trust you can have in that NC State defense. They prove it again. Pressure on Morris. And Valdez drags him down. Marcus Valdez playing like a man possessed here tonight for Boston College.
MJ Morris a little slow to get up there, but watch Marcus Valdez, right side of your screen. Wins on the pass rush and just the pursuit. And the thing that has stood out about Marcus Valdez his entire career is the fact that he plays with an incredible motor. Saw Donovan Ezeraku in the backfield as well, who's been fantastic on that defensive line, but Marcus Valdez gets the sack.
His second straight play with a sack after the strip sack earlier. Morris on a draw, and this time it's Ezeraku who gets to him. So a defensive line that was all sorts of disappointed in itself last week, they have stepped up tonight.
Watch number 6 on the left side. I mean, just absolute crossover move. Does a nice job beating the offensive tackle underneath. What a great job against Timothy McKay, who's actually played a lot better over the course of the year. Had some struggles at the beginning. Sets it up outside, and then a little bit Karate Kid there at the end.
From the always energetic Donovan Ezeraku. 3rd down and 22. The screen is safe and incomplete. Bryce Steele came crashing in on Jordan Houston. 4th down for NC State.
Safe call there from Tim Beck. And that ball's thrown in the backfield. The receiver's behind the line of scrimmage, so there's no pass interference when you get tackled before the ball's coming. But, I mean, these defenses have come to play in the second half. Only seen 10 points. We saw 21 in the first 3 drives.
BC has limited NC State to just 3 points since halftime in about 20 minutes of game action. 5th punt for Nooncastle. And Gill with a fair catch at the 26. Boston College down a half dozen. All right, Jordan, so from Death Valley to Carter-Finley, boy, we've got a good one here between Boston College, just 2-7 this season, and NC State, ranked 16th in the country, 7-2, but unable to find some offensive continuity this half. And so BC's got the football down by 6 with 10 minutes to go, Roddy Jones.
And the freshman, Emmett Moorhead, has had moments where he's looked fantastic, throwing a couple of interceptions. but their inability to run the football has made them pretty one-dimensional.
This is just their 5th run this half, and Peyton Wilson is right there against Alex Broom.
You know, you'd love to sort of figure out a situation where you can pop one of these runs. First down's always tough because it's an obvious run scenario. But as you get to like 2nd, 3rd and long, we've seen teams have a lot of success slipping a run in there, try and get it going. It's almost playing backwards where you throw it early and then run it late.
Well, they're running it early. They do pop one, at least by their standards this half. -8 rushing yards before that carry from Broom. And it makes it 3rd down and manageable. Cyrus Fagan in on the tackle on a gain of 7.
It's not often you're well into the 4th quarter and talking about being underwater in terms of rush yards. But it does set up a 3rd and much more manageable. Moorhead has managed the pressure. He's been hit a lot tonight. The toughness that the young guy has shown has been impressive. He's going to need it here.
Jalen Gill is on the field here, split out wide to the left. Zay Flowers slot right. The pack brings pressure. Moorhead stands in. Down the sideline, incomplete. Shaheem Battle again in coverage, this time on Jalen Gill.
It's felt like in this game, if you get one-on-one coverage, Emmett Moorhead is electing to go down the field on these fade balls. That plays right into the hands of NC State. They've got some of the biggest group of corners in the entire conference. Shaheem Battle, 6'2". Those jump balls, NC State will live with those all day long.
And against the blitz on 3rd downs, John McNulty said those were going to be there for the taking, some deep shots.
And you're going to have to complete some of them at some point. I would actually like, if you get those man-to-man coverages, whatever Zay Flowers is running, just make it quick and go to him.
Doesn't get the target there on 3rd down, so Danny Longman punts inside the 30, and a fair catch from Thayer Thomas. 8:34 to go. NC State by 6 on BC. Still to come, the ACC Huddle crew will be back with highlights and complete breakdowns of all the afternoon games, and they will get you ready for Florida State Syracuse coming up right here on ACC Network at 8. Then after the game, the Huddle crew inside the Dome for a full post-game show, also on the ESPN app.
Look at them looking like a boy band at the bottom. I mean, EJ in the front, of course, he's the quarterback. Eddie Royal coming in. I think he'd actually be the base, you know, of the boy band.
I'm with you.
Yeah, and then Coach Rick would be the one that brings down the house at the end.
We teased 5 wide, and then it was 3 guys at halftime.
Exactly, I know.
You got to manage the
Some
reps.
combination, yeah, they all got to get their touches.
8.5 to go in the 4th quarter. NC State leads by 6 with the football. They keep it on the ground with Michael Allen. Owen Stoudemire healthy and on the tackle on a gain of 2. NC State 36 yards of total offense since halftime.
You were asking the question, where do you go for offense if you're NC State? And to be honest, I don't really know. And it seems like they don't either. Thayer Thomas has been the guy that's been the most consistent, but Trent Penix has been banged up. He had a lot of big plays in the pass game in the first half.
Morris to throw. Right side with some zip, incomplete. And a flag.
Ooh, I don't like this call.
Elijah Jones cannot believe it. He was matched up against Darryl Jones, and let's see, this might be going on the offense.
Okay.
This might be going against Darryl Jones.
I'm not entirely sure I like that either, but I like it better than defensive pass interference. I thought it's been, as you mentioned, you alluded to, it's been a tough day for Elijah Jones in terms of penalties. Some of those kind of iffy. They're trying to communicate to Jeff Halfley.
BC doesn't even realize that it's on the offense, so we got like 4 signals to the sideline.
Interference. Offense, number 11. The penalty is enforced, half the distance to the goal. Repeat, 2nd down.
Said you might not like it, but it's certainly better than on Elijah Jones.
Well, I certainly did not think it was defensive.
Yep.
And I'm not exactly sure when the offensive would have come either. So, you know, at the top of the route, you may have gotten a little bit of a shove from Darryl Jones, but that happens on every route. I mean, so I don't know. I don't love the flag coming out on either one, especially from what we saw. But it definitely was not defensive.
So now you're backed up to the 15, and Morris sails it for Darryl Jones. Vinny DePalma was there in coverage, so 3rd down and 22.
It's just been offensive frustration on both sides in the second half. These freshman quarterbacks have had to make throws into tight windows pretty consistently during this game, and because of the tight man-to-man defense that both defenses have played at times, because of the pressure that especially NC State's brought, it's kind of thrown the rhythm off here.
With Leary sidelined, of course. Second career start for MJ Morris. Conservative with a quarterback draw. And Morris takes a late hit from Cole Batson. It's a flag, and Tem Lukabu is furious. Cole Batson takes a costly penalty for BC. The BC defensive coordinator jumping all over the place on the Eagles sideline.
It's unnecessary when a quarterback starts to slide, when he signals that he's going to slide, to even get in a point where you're almost going to lay a hit on him. I think this will certainly be a late hit. Question is it targeting?
After the play, personal foul, late hit with targeting. Defense number 23, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. The play is under further review.
So the important thing here, Mike, is it's late hit with targeting. They're not going to take the late hit off the board no matter what the decision is on targeting. And I don't think it's going to be targeting based on that. But the late hit is going to stand. So the reason that I don't think it's targeting, the quarterback is a defenseless player. When you give up yourself to slide, it's a defenseless player situation, so you're looking for a forcible contact to the head or neck area. The contact comes to the chest of MJ Morris, so I do not think it's targeting. Still a dangerous play, but not targeting. But the late hit, that penalty is going to stand. Like, that penalty cannot be taken away by replay, so it's going to be first down NC State.
And so on a 3rd and 22, they are willing to punt the football, and BC with what would be its 11th penalty of this game. It is its 11th penalty of this game, and that is a costly one from a very young player.
And what you want in that situation, I think Cole Batson has a very bright future ahead of him. But what you want to do in that situation, as he starts to go down, you pull off and you just guide him down to the ground. You just make sure that the quarterback has a nice soft landing, maybe even pull out a pillow for his little bottom as it hits the ground. But you just make sure that the quarterback goes down and you don't even get in the situation where you're tempted to make contact. Cole Batson commits, and it's going to be first down NC State. Although I stand by what I said before. Like, I still think the targeting is going to be wiped off.
After further review, there is no foul for targeting. The personal foul late hit will still be enforced. Automatic first down. Number 23 may remain in the game.
And it's kind of as we thought, Mike. But the other part to this, there's a coaching point for MJ Morris in this too, because even though you get the penalty for the first down, you don't want to have your quarterback sliding that late, because you may get a penalty out of it, but you also may be knocked out of the game because of a late slide. So you want to signal that earlier. Get down earlier. Works out for NC State there, but you want to tell your quarterback to protect himself by sliding early.
So from the 39-yard line, Morris hands it off to Michael Allen. Vinny DePalma makes the tackle. It's 2 yards for NC State on first down.
All right, now how does this defense respond? 3rd and 22, adversity strikes, self-inflicted adversity strikes. How does this defense respond? Who's going to step up? Is it a Marcus Valdez, a Donovan Ezeraku? You don't want to try and do too much, but you do want to get the ball back and have that feeling getting off the field.
Big day for Valdez. Ezeraku's been their best pass rusher all season. Working on McKay. Valdez trying to get through. Flag down. Ezeraku wraps up Morris. Looked like on the left side of the offensive line with Valdez pass rushing against Bryson Spees.
Feels like there's one of these every week where you just get a million flags. This will be our 19th penalty if it is indeed called. Although we've got 2 flags on this one, so.
Well, that's been a given on every time there has been.
The synchronicity of this crew.
There are fouls by each team.
Of course there are.
Holding, offense number 56. Holding, defense number 20. The foul's offset. Repeat second down.
So Spees, the left tackle, and Elijah Jones, who's been squarely in the middle of all of it all evening.
Elijah Jones it's got to feel like the refs are picking on him. I'm not saying that they are, but it's got to feel like that a little bit. A corner, you've heard your number called a lot by the official.
He told us earlier this year, I'm a bigger corner, I like to press, I play pretty physically. Low snap on second down. Morris with time to throw. Downfield, and it's intercepted. And guess who? Elijah Jones, who's been tested all night, comes up with the pick for Boston College. Third turnover for MJ Morris. All in this second half.
They tried to hit a double move on Elijah Jones, and the physicality by the big corner is what makes this. At the bottom of your screen, you're going to see Daryl Jones with a sluggo. Slant, tries to go up the field. Elijah Jones collisions him, and at this point, MJ Morris shouldn't throw the football, but it's underthrown. And Elijah Jones, watch the ball skills by number 20. Goes up, and it's a contested catch. Cole Batson actually almost breaks it up. What a great play by Elijah Jones.
This Eagles defense has had answers all night, and then George Takis makes a tough catch across the middle for 4 yards with 6.5 to go, and the Eagles trailing by 6 here in the fourth.
All right, so if you're Boston College, you can count on 2 more possessions, but that's about it.
Including this one.
Including this one. And that's if you get a stop, obviously, on defense. But with the way the game is going, not a lot of possessions left in this one. You're going to have to start to make the most of it.
A screen on second down, and Garwo wrapped up from behind by Drake Thomas. Makes the sure-handed tackle. It's third down and a couple.
And if Drake Thomas doesn't get that, I mean, Garwo is going to go for probably another 15, 20. Tanner Ingle was the next closest defender. Once again, Drake Thomas, Johnny on the spot to force a third and short.
If you're just joining us, Boston College, the worst rushing offense in the country this season. They've got -1 rushing yards in this game. So, yeah, it's 3rd and 2, but you like Zay Flowers.
Yeah, and he's going to be singled up to the bottom. It's like one-on-one with Shaheem Battle.
He's had a good night for NC State. Pressure comes on Moorhead, and a whistle. It looks like a false start against the Eagles again on a 3rd down and 2, just like earlier.
Yeah.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense number 67, 5-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
And Mike, you had exactly the look that you wanted in that situation. It was one-on-one coverage with Zay Flowers to the bottom. The safety was all the way on the far hash, and Shaheem Battle was pressed up. And by the time the ball was blown dead, Zay Flowers had 2 steps on Shaheem Battle.
2 huge false starts ahead of 3rd downs this half for BC, with a dozen penalties here tonight.
Watch a shallow cross with Zay Flowers coming across the field.
Starts in the slot against Boykin. Moorhead stays alive. Flush to his right, throws toward the sideline and incomplete. Jeff Hafley wanted a penalty. Aiden White in coverage against Jalen Gill, and it's 4th down and 7.
Jeff Hafley is incensed that they didn't get a call there. He's chasing down the side judge. Not sure exactly what he was upset about, but either way, it's a nice play on the scramble drill. Nice play on the scramble drill by NC State.
Boy, he is fighting for his guys here tonight. It's a great punt from Danny Longman. It bounces inside the 20, and that is a field flipper from the veteran punter to the 5-yard line. With 4:41 to go, heck of a boot from Longman for the Eagles. Back in Raleigh, let's check out our Auto Owners Insurance drive recap and how different this second half has been offensively for the Wolfpack.
I mean, it's about as ugly a drive chart as you can have. You got 3 turnovers and 3 punts. Oh, there's a Chris Dunn field goal in there too. But it's been tough. It's been tough. And they've had good field position a couple of times, having taken over off of some turnovers or a turnover by BC. But the question is going to be, can Tim Lukabu's crew, can they stand up once again, force NC State's offense off the field?
It's been a whale of a defensive performance since halftime for Boston College. Big hit from Cam Arnold, and then Vinny DePalma finished off Jordan Houston for 4 yards. So Danny Longman had a 65-yard punt, pins NC State back. MJ Morris just threw his first career interception. So what's the play calling like for NC State?
I think it's conservative. It's running the football like you just saw. They just brought in a couple of tight ends in the game. This is a heavy formation, so you're either going with an easy access throw or another run.
Another run. Houston on the ground. And Jordan Houston to the 15-yard line before he's tripped up by Jaden Woodby, and it's a first down.
It's time to go into your 4-minute offensive mode. You are milking the clock. And we talked to Tim Beck about different scenarios that are still a little foreign to the freshman. He said last week he didn't really know how to run victory formation, so they had to call a timeout, set up victory formation. Now the message is going to be, do not snap the ball with more than 10 seconds left on the play clock.
Right at 10, they give it to Houston. A few yards there. Cam Arnold the tackle, so we tick toward 3.5 to go. And you think about 2 weeks ago, here for NC State against Virginia Tech. Final 5:35, they salted the game away, keeping it on the ground.
Yeah, they absolutely did. So you're slow getting the play calls in to slow your freshman quarterback down. And then it's up to him once you get up to the line of scrimmage. You make your checks, you make sure everything's good to go. You snap the ball somewhere around that 6-second mark if you can. Certainly less than 10 on the play clock.
As it is here, Houston is stopped. Cam Horsley makes the tackle for Boston College. If you are the Eagles, can you absolutely sell out to stop the run?
Charge timeout. Boston College, their first of the half.
As they take their first timeout.
Interesting BC calls a timeout there.
Reset the game clock to 2 minutes.
I have saved that
seconds.
one, but either way, to your question, selling out to stop the run. I mean,
thank you.
NC State has not been a big threat down the field. They've thrown the ball 22 times. You got 137 yards. Your corners you really trust. You just had an interception on your side. So, I mean, if you want to keep a safety back and play man free, that's fine. But I think you'd feel comfortable enough to bring that safety up and just play cover 0 down the field. And if they want to challenge you down the field, especially with you bringing pressure on a 3rd down, then that's fine. But you're not letting them pop a run on you. You don't want to allow them to hand the football off or a quarterback draw and have MJ Morris run for a first down. This is a big quarterback draw formation with 5 wide.
A timeout there is showing a lot of trust and confidence in your defense.
It really is, and especially if you run the football here without that timeout.
It's Houston, and Boston College gets the stop. Marcus Valdez, the first to meet Houston.
Boston College.
The NC State fans don't love the play calling.
It would be 30
and BC
seconds.
takes its second timeout. They'll have 1 left with 2:53 to go.
Please set the game clock to 2 minutes, 54 seconds. 2:54.
And you mentioned NC State fans not liking the play call.
Thank you.
I feel that's the only play call to make in that situation. I said it a quarter and a half ago. With a 20-14 lead, this game is entirely on the defense now. The defense has to be able to come up with the stop. This team hangs its hat on the performance of that defense, and with a freshman quarterback, that's the play call to make. Conservative play call, punt the ball away, and you rely on the senior-laden defense to win you the football game.
A story that's been the case all season.
100%. Yep.
For NC State. Caden Noonkester to punt. Jalen Gill has already fumbled on 1 punt return earlier. Signals for the fair catch, handles it cleanly. just outside the 30 with 2:47 to go on a 48-yard punt from Newcastle.
2:41, one timeout. You need a touchdown. The thing that you're telling Emmett Morehead is take the gains when you can get them. If it's a check down, whatever it is, take it. You don't have to worry about managing, getting toward the sideline until you're under 2 minutes. And even then, with the timeout, you can use the middle of the field, especially as long as it's past that first down marker. Your entire offense, every throw in that offense is still available with 2:47.
It's been 8 years since Boston College beat an AP-ranked team. Down 6, Morehead takes off and takes something. Now, remember first half 2-minute drill, he led them into plus territory.
Yep.
They were moving it until his interception.
Yep. And when they've gone up tempo, they've had success today. Clock's still going to run because we're above 2 minutes, so it stops for a second when it goes out of bounds. That clock's still running.
Haven't had a Zay Flowers touch in a while. 4-man rush. Thomas flushes Morehead, who gets rid of it smartly, and now it's 3rd down and 7.
Yeah, the sack is what kills you in those situations. So if you get penetration, you've got to be able to throw the ball away. And Tanner Ingles back down.
Official
It's like he's
timeout
cramping again.
for an injury.
It is warmer than you typically get in early November. Yeah. I don't know about unseasonably warm, but we're close. You were surprised at the amount of the heat and humidity earlier in the day.
I'll give you that qualifier.
Will you give me unseasonably warm?
A jacket on down on the field for us pregame is a mistake.
It was a bad choice with a shirt that you can sweat through very easily. But
so 2:26 to go as Ingle gets stretched out, and for Morehead, he's got to solve this NC State defense, which you said NC State has all the trust in.
They should. It's where the experience is. It's where this program has really been built. Drake Thomas has been all over the place. Isaiah Moore has been fantastic, as has Peyton Wilson. Then down the field, had great coverage by guys like Shaheem Battle. They haven't even really tested Aiden White. But Isaiah Moore, you see him on the sideline. Captain of that crew comes off the field when they bring an extra defensive back in those 3rd down situations, leaving Drake Thomas and Peyton Wilson on.
And listen to this place. 16 straight home wins for NC State on senior day. The crowd behind them.
Boston College has jumped off sides a number of times on 3rd down. You're looking for a pass rush matchup. Drake Thomas on the end of the line of scrimmage to the top of the screen, towards the top. He has been the best pass rusher for NC State.
3rd down and 7. Morehead over the middle, complete for a 1st down. It's the tight end, George Takis, moves the sticks with 8 yards.
Big time conversion there. It's just a little slant. Delivers right money.
Out to the 42-yard line. Still over 2 minutes to go. Morehead rolls. He checks it down. Incomplete. Wanted Broom. Peyton Wilson in coverage.
When they've been able to get Emmett Morehead off of his spot, I mean, he really hasn't had anywhere to go with the football. Every time he gets flushed, I mean, it is a struggle to find anyone to throw the ball to. So for BC, solving this pass rush, even if you give ground a little bit and the pocket starts to collapse, if you can keep Emmett Morehead in the pocket, that's where he's been most effective.
2nd down and 10. He's in the pocket, and now he's flushed on the run to the sideline, and it's caught by Tomlin. Inside the 30. Another contested catch for Dino Tomlin, and Morehead creates this time on the move.
He sure does, and Devin Boykin was in coverage, had an opportunity probably to intercept that, but Tomlin comes in and collisions him going up for the football and absolutely wins it. Once again, just throw the ball up to Dino Tomlin. The dude has been so competitive with the football in the air. Watch Emmett Morehead as he rolls out and then throws the ball up. I mean, Devin Boykin's in great position. Tomlin just bodies him out of the way to make a play. It's a fantastic job by Dino Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin's son, who before tonight, in 4 years of college football, had 9 career catches. And he has come up with 3 massive grabs. That one for 29 yards. And Boston College deep into plus territory, still 1:55 to go.
And worth noting, Tanner Ingles been battling some cramps. Now Shaheem Battle's on the ground. Ingles trying to work it out. But this defensive backfield starting to look a little thinner, a little more thin as we get into this game. We're taking a long time working on Shy Battle.
Already without Tyler Baker-Williams. Did not dress due to injury, a foot issue for him, and an injury-filled fifth-year senior season for the very good nickelback. Ingle been trying to get loose, like you said, and now Battle for an NC State defense that's been sterling all season, trying to protect a 6-point lead.
This feels very much like a Zay Flowers needs a touch situation. I mean, you are now down inside the 30-yard line on the road in hostile territory. Your best player has to touch the football and touch it soon.
I mean, he's got no catches the last 19 minutes. His last grab, 6 minutes left in the third quarter.
And I believe he's only been targeted once on the throw down the field on the 4th down.
And so Shy Battle, who has played a part in that, played pretty well last week against Wake Forest.
Yeah, sure did.
The redshirt junior to his feet inside of 2 minutes left.
Tanner Ingles still not in the game. You got Shy Battle on one side. Derek Pitts comes in for him. Excuse me, you got Aiden White on one side. Derek Pitts comes in for Shaheem Battle.
Pitts, who has had some struggles at times over the last couple of weeks. From the 29-yard line. 3-man rush. Time for Moorhead. He takes off. Gets toward the 25 before he's bear hugged by Travali Price. It's 4 yards as we tick toward 1:30 to go.
All right, now you're getting in the situation where you have to be cautious about running the football like that. It's almost better to throw the ball away when you get in these scenarios so that you stop the clock and you don't waste the amount of time that they're wasting right now. Not a lot of urgency on this Boston College offense.
3-by-1 set. Pitts shadowing Flowers. They're in zone coverage. Moorhead dragged down by Van. Davin Van for a loss of 7. It's the 5th sack for the Wolfpack.
A great individual effort by Davin Van. Boston College opting not to take a timeout here either. Clock still running.
Inside of 50 seconds. On 3rd down, Moorhead down the middle, complete. Takis again. It's a 1st down to the 14.
What a big-time throw from Emmett Moorhead, and another NC State defender
Official
down
timeout.
on the ground.
One injury.
This time it's Davin Van. As NC State's cramping, and it's actually helping out Boston College. I mean, the clock would be running right now as they scramble up to the line of scrimmage and try and figure it out, but, I mean, the lack of hydration by NC State, it's like a timeout for BC. Now, the clock will start to run when everybody gets set, but by that time, you've already got your play call. You've talked about it. You've reminded your quarterback, hey, 43 seconds, 1 timeout. We're working sidelines here. Can't take a sack. Throw the ball out of bounds if it gets close. You can always throw it out of the back of the end zone. It's not going to be intentional grounding. You can give all those reminders that you would not have otherwise been able to.
It's been a trying season for Boston College and Jeff Hafley. We've talked to him a few times this year, and he has said, we're going to get one of these. And this is as good of an opportunity as they have had to grab a win where they weren't expected to. The job not done. They're down by 6 at the 14-yard line after this grab, 17 yards to Takis.
On the road, number 16 team in the country, Emmett Moorhead delivers it to Takis. Didn't get a shot of that ball. Looks like it's a clean catch, at least from what we saw there. Nothing to suggest that it's not. But what a big-time throw. I mean, just in front of the safety, barreling down, and a big-time catch by Takis.
So as Flowers has been quiet, it's been Tomlin and Takis. Moorhead across the middle, incomplete. Intended for Dino Tomlin, Drake Thomas in coverage for NC State.
You can get a first down inside the 5. So you don't have to go to the end zone every time, but if you get a pass in the middle of the field, you can still use the middle of the field, but if you get a pass in the middle of the field, especially if it's short of the first down, you're going to have to burn that last time out. You get past the first down, then you have an option. You can spike it or take that timeout. I'd probably take the timeout anyway, so you have ample opportunity to throw the ball in the end zone.
Shades of the Florida State game for the Pack defense. On second down, Moorhead climbs the pocket, rolling and throwing incomplete into traffic. 6 seconds come off the clock. Third down coming up with 30 ticks to go.
Davin Vann comes back in the game. And again, you just keep wanting Zay Flowers to touch the football. Can you find an opportunity for him on one of those shallow crosses where it's an easy pitch and catch, and then you just let him be special with the ball in his hands? It's going to be tough to find something down the field because NC State, I would anticipate they're going to drop numbers. They're going to clog up throwing lanes. It's going to take a special play by somebody on that BC side.
11th play of the drive. Flowers, bottom of your screen against Pitts. On third down, Moorhead takes off. And Moorhead is brought down just outside the 10 by Davin Vann.
Charge timeout. Boston College.
3 yards
third and final of the half.
Timeout taken by
It
Jeff
will be 30
Hafley.
seconds.
And again, if you're NC State, there's 2 ways you can go about it. You can send pressure and force the freshman to find where he's going with the football. But the tack that they've been taking, dropping 8, clogging up throwing lanes, and making Emmett Moorhead uncomfortable because there's nowhere to go with the football. I think that's the way to go here. Because if he takes off and runs the ball, you've got an athletic enough defense, and he's not enough of a running threat to really threaten you down the field. So I expect them again to protect that first down. And if you're Boston College, how can you find a way to get the ball into Zay Flowers' hands?
Charge timeout. NC State. Their first of the half. It will be 30 seconds.
So Dave Doran and Tony Gibson get a look at it from John McNulty and the Eagles, and they take their first timeout.
So obviously you can't take them home with you. So it's wise to get a look at what Boston College wants to do. And those conversations, and when you call a timeout in that situation, you basically come back out, or you come back into the huddle and say, okay, remember, here's what they like to run. So 3-by-1 formation, tight end to the boundary with the 2 slots pretty close together. Here's what they like to run in those situations. Here's where Flowers was in that situation. And if you're Boston College, now you have to decide, do you come in the same formation, or do you switch it up? Looks like they're coming out in the exact same formation.
Trying to set a program record for consecutive home wins. On fourth down, Moorhead looking Flowers' way. Throws toward the end zone and broke it up. There is a flag. Drake Thomas was in coverage against Joe Griffin. And that is the look of a lot of Wolfpack fans.
Pass interference. Defense number 32. Automatic first down at the 2-yard line.
Wow.
So we have not yet seen the replay. The defender has as much right to the ball as the offensive player. And if Drake Thomas is going for the ball, yeah, it's a good call. It's a good call. He gets there early and impedes the receiver from trying to catch the football, and he goes through the shoulder of Joseph Griffin. If he's able to get there first and it's a collision as they're both getting there, that's one thing. But Drake Thomas does go through the shoulder of Joe Griffin. So it ends up being, it's a good call by the officiating crew. Dave Doran's not going to like it. Tony Gibson certainly doesn't like it. Better watch out though.
NC State, their second of the half. It will be 30 seconds.
I mean, it's close and it's bang bang, but I thought that was, upon the second look, I thought it was the right call by the officials.
Always such an aggressive defense. They get that mentality from Dave Doran, from Tony Gibson, and Drake Thomas, who's been so good these last few years. just a little bit early.
And it is just a hair. And had it not been called, to be honest, Boston College is probably the only team that is probably the only crew that says, hey, look, that should have been pass interference. Like, we would not have thought twice about it. Bang, bang play, not called on the goal line would have been fine. But if you are going by the letter of the law, I mean, Joseph Griffin has position. He's going to catch that football. Drake Thomas gets there before the ball gets to his hands. It is pass interference. It's a tough call, and now Boston College is going to have shots from the 2-yard line. The big thing for Emmett Morehead, you cannot take a sack. You have to give yourself an opportunity to have 4 shots at the end zone. See if NC State can stand up.
And watch out for Joe Griffin. Bottom of your screen, 6'4" freshman, a red zone threat. He's got a great connection with Morehead. From the 2, pressure comes. Griffin's way, and Griffin hangs on for a touchdown. Jeff Hafley says Joe Griffin is going to be a star. It's arriving right now.
Emmett Morehead fired up on the sideline, engineering that drive. And how many times in pregame, Mike, did we see Joe Griffin and Emmett Morehead throw that exact pass over and over and over? And in the most crucial moment, it pays off.
Connor Litton for the extra point, and it is good. And Boston College grabs the lead on the road against number 16 with 14 seconds to go.
Unbelievable, man. The back and forth of this game. And for NC State, I know they're so frustrated by that bang-bang play that's called pass interference down there on the goal line on 4th down.
Official timeout for an injury.
But let's not forget, this NC State team has the best kicker in the country. There's still 14 seconds left, and NC State has a timeout. You're going to have an opportunity with a young quarterback. You've got to push the ball down the field, but the opportunity is going to be there to give Chris Dunn the chance to win you the game.
Joe Griffin's first catch of the game. He had 2 touchdowns last week against Duke. And it was right in that same end zone, to your point, Roddy, where we watched them go to work before they went into the locker room on this exact throw, and it caught your attention.
It did, because it's 2 young players. It's a redshirt freshman quarterback and a true freshman receiver staying out after everybody goes in to get dressed, right before they come out as a team for warm-ups, to work on that exact throw in that exact place from that exact spot. They were throwing it from the 25, and then they moved up and threw it from about where Emmett Morehead was standing right there. And Joe Griffin was exactly where he caught that football, right on the back hip. That extra work pays off, and the faith of the freshman quarterback to go to the freshman receiver in that situation has these NC State fans stunned.
Emmett Morehead, a redshirt freshman, a year ahead of the true freshman Joe Griffin. And Morehead said when Griffin arrived, he tried to take Joe Griffin under his wing because he knew they were going to get reps together. And he knew what the future had in store for Joe Griffin. And 2 weeks in a row, that connection is real.
How about the fight of this Boston College team? You've got a freshman quarterback on the road in one of the most hostile environments in this league. You've got the number 16 team in the country, statistically the best scoring defense in this league on the other side. You get the ball back with 2:43, 1 timeout. You drive the ball down the field, converting a big 3rd down in the process. You get a call on 4th down and then make the play to get the ball in the end zone. This is a team that lost to UConn earlier this year. A UConn team that's now bowl eligible but did not start the season well. But there's all the reasons in the world that Boston College could have quit. But Jeff Hafley's crew never does that. They fought during this game. You know Dave Doran's crew isn't going to either. Again, best kicker in the country. Can you make a play to give him a chance?
Last time BC beat an AP top 25 team was 2014 when Tyler Murphy was a monster rushing against then number 9 USC. Since then, 15 straight losses to ranked opponents for Boston College. With 14 seconds to go, NC State will have it from the 25 with 1 timeout. for its freshman quarterback, MJ Morris, to try to give Chris Dunn a shot. His long this season is 53.
Realistically, with 2 completions, far enough to get the ball in range for Chris Dunn, you're only going to have a chance for 2 of those before Chris Dunn has to kick it. So you have to be, this has to be a completion, and preferably one where you get out of bounds and you don't have to burn that timeout.
Boston College has had a heck of a defensive performance since halftime. Morris rolls out, throws toward the sideline and batted away by Jason Maitre. Intended for Thayer Thomas. 6 seconds come off the clock. And Maitre is slow to get up, the veteran in the secondary.
For an injury.
Now you're kind of hoping and praying that you can get at least, you got to get at least to what, the 45, that'd be 55. It's over 60 yards right there. If you can get to the opposite 40, that gives you an opportunity for a 57-yarder. But do you have the time even to get down there at this point? Now you're not worried about getting to the sideline. The middle of the field, if it's wide open, throw it in the middle. You have to have the awareness of where you are, how much time it took to get down, call that timeout. But NC State, you're trying to get yourself in a position to throw it in the end zone for a Hail Mary, or even more preferable would be an opportunity for Chris Dunn. But I think you'd have to get past the opposite 40 to even be in a scenario where you'd attempt that field goal.
Again, Dunn might be the best kicker in the country. He is 20 for 20 on field goals this year, but NC State is at its own 25-yard line with 8 seconds to go. Quick throw, Thayer Thomas on a lateral. Jones back to Morris. Throws it across the field, and Valdez picks it off. With 0 showing here on the clock in Raleigh.
The game is not over.
They have to do some administration, but the game is over. It's a legal forward pass. Either way, it ends up in the hands of Boston College, but wow, what a finish.
Fitting that Marcus Valdez comes up with it, a guy who typified the grit of this BC defense all game and all year. He's been playing hurt all season, and he was stout for this defense.
So much of the talk around this Boston College defensive line is around Donovan Ezeraku. Marcus Valdez showed up today. All 6-year senior, rolling in there as a captain, 2-time captain for this Boston College team. Comes up with the crucial play down the stretch. And NC State absolutely stunned here at home by the Boston College Eagles. And Jeff Hafley.
Illegal forward pass, offense, the penalty is declined. The play results in a first down, Boston College. Please set the game clock to 1 second.
What? There's no way that play took less than 8 seconds. It was all over the place.
2 laterals and 2 passes.
Yeah.
And so they do put 1 second back on the clock. And wow, Boston College comes into Raleigh and stuns the Wolfpack.
Absolutely stuns them. And there's still a lot for NC State to play for, but this senior class isn't going to get the record that they so coveted, at least not sole possession of the record that they so coveted. And to be honest with you, they've got teams going to go to 7-3. 10 wins has only been done once in the history of this program, and it's been such a big number for NC State. You're going to have to win the next 2 games in the regular season to get there and finish 9-3, and then the bowl game. You've got a UNC team that's really hot, a Louisville team that's playing really well, and you get a good team in the bowl game. So we'll see if that happens. But you can't help but to be happy for Jeff Hafley and for this program that he represents so well. Such respect between those 2 head coaches, and that team absolutely fought its tail off in that game. And a last-minute drive by a quarterback making his 2nd start ends up winning it for him. Disappointment on the face of Dave Dorn, but Boston College hung in there until the very end.
unprompted, Jeff Hafley said to us yesterday, I know there's some people who think I should be fired, which is ridiculous.
I agree.
For as early as his tenure is and how successful it's already been. But he's aware of the noise, and they come in and they beat number 16, and Taylor is down there with Jeff Hafley.
Thanks, guys. All right, Coach. This season has had its challenges. You guys come on the road, a top 25 team, and pull off a win like that. Describe the emotion.
I can't. It's unbelievable. The joy, the effort, how hard these guys believed. It's incredible right now. I'm so proud of the team, the way they fought, the way they haven't given up, the way they've stayed supported when everybody hasn't given us a chance. It's an incredible group who I love, and I'm just happy to be their coach.
You told us this week you have seen commitment and fight from your team. That was emulated here tonight, and you have a young squad. How encouraged are you by this showing?
Really encouraged. The momentum they'll gain. They deserve this. They put in the work. They hear a lot of noise. They deserve this. That's them. They played so hard. Just really proud of them.
And you did it with a young quarterback in Emmett Moorhead. What a stage for him to perform on. How impressed were you by his composure?
Really impressed. He was pretty down after the picks. I just kept going up to him and asking him how much fun he was having, and I'm sure we're about to have a lot of fun right now. Really proud of him.
Go have fun, Coach. Enjoy.
Yes, I appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet they are. A senior day stunner, and buy stock in Emmett Moorhead if it's not too late.
Well, the fact that he was able to come back from those early mistakes and put together that last drive, I mean, the kid has all the tools.
For Roddy Jones, for Taylor Davis, our entire crew behind the scenes, Mike Monaco saying so long from Raleigh. Stunning. BC wins it. Let's get you to Jordan and company up in Syracuse.
Coach Mark Ritt, EJ Manuel, Eric McClain, Eddie Royal, and I'm just the other guy here at the desk, Jordan Cornett. Yo, what just happened? Boston College 21-20 over NC State. Emmett Moorhead throws for over 300 yards, and a BC team gets their first win versus a ranked opponent, EMAC, since 2014.
Wow. Sacked 5 times, 2 picks, negative rushing yards. And they find a way. They win the game. I mean, it's unbelievable to see this effort from these guys. And honestly, the no-quit attitude. I mean, we spoke about it at halftime.
Yeah.
Just take care of business, NC State. Do the little things well. And they didn't. Boston College absolutely took advantage of it to the very end. And it's just incredible. This is college football where crazy things happen. You can't expect it. Double-digit, 20 points is the number. They say, nah, we're good. We're going to win by 1.
And how about the ice water in Moorhead's veins to come into this game, hostile environment? We all know how hard it is to win in Carter-Finley as an opposing team. To throw that touchdown, a one-handed catch by Griffin to end it. Excellent game by BC.
Great job. I mean, just a lot of guts. You figured the season's over. You figured they got nothing to play for. A guy like Zay Flowers, you would think, would be in the tank. Although he's had a pretty good individual season, he didn't come back to lose as many games as they lost. But to get that victory, you could just see how much it meant to those guys.
We didn't even get a chance to pick the game, right? Maybe somebody would have picked BC.
You heard from Coach Hafley. We almost didn't think there was a reason.
No.
This group didn't. There was no belief.
No.
I mean, it's 2-17. They were 18-point dogs in this game, Eddie. I mean, it wasn't just us. Coach said they had to go out there and earn it. Nobody believed in them, and they delivered.
Right, and then kudos to Zay Flowers. He has the most receiving yards in school history today. Broke that record today. So kudos to Zay Flowers. Great job, young man. He's had a heck of a year. He showed today he was the best player on the field. It's been that way. Even though things haven't been going great for them all season long, he stepped up and played big every single game. I respect his game a lot.
Zay Flowers, EJ, Warrior, 130 yards, couple touchdowns for him. You just alluded to it, you guys talking here at the desk. Zay Flowers could have gone other places. Zay Flowers could have quit on his team. It happens in college football. Superstar, bright future, your team's not winning. Sit this out. Instead, he's been mightily productive. He's been a leader. We haven't seen bad body language from him. How impressed were you and continue to be with him?
Well, what it shows from Zay Flowers is that he has maturity. He understands that it's not just about me. It's not just about my accolades. It's not just about the stats that I get, but it's about the guys in his locker room for Boston College. And I think when you hear Coach Hafley talk about his team, that's why he gets emotional. Because he knows what these guys are going through. He wants to have success with Zay Flowers so he can move on to the NFL and get drafted as high as possible. But I guarantee you, the scouts are going to know about this. The GMs are going to know about what kind of guy he is, and he's certainly making money on the field and how he handles himself off the field.
And you talk about making that money, EJ. I know this isn't the result of the season that he anticipated or certainly wants from a team perspective, but individually, this young man has been on full display. All the attributes with the strong hands, the catch radius. I know he's not the biggest guy in the world, but if it's around him, he's coming down with it. Make you miss in a phone booth type stuff every single game. He doesn't have, Coach, a bad game. Love what you see from Zay.
Well, talking about money, and I know you alluded to it, but that NIL money was calling his name.
Right.
And he decided, so you knew what kind of a guy he was when you made that decision. And then all the adversity of the season hit, and he continued to show the man of character that he is. If I'm drafting a guy, and it's even close, I'm taking him.
No doubt.
Senior Bowl, give my man an invite.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and he deserves all the accolades. Let's look at the pack on this side of things here. I mean, this is a group 7-2. MJ Morris was flying high after 2 games, leading them to wins. 16 consecutive home wins at Carter-Finley, tied for a program record. A chance to make history with 17 here. Eric, what went wrong with the pack tonight?
Yeah, really just kind of falling apart, man. And I didn't love the offensive game plan in the second half. I mean, they ran the ball a ton. This is not a running football team. And I understand you got a freshman quarterback. You're in an adverse situation. Maybe you try to protect them a little bit. But to run the ball 44 times to only get 200 yards off of that, you just wanted to maybe see a little bit more. And that's the details. I mean, JC, we were sitting here watching them. They're on the 1-yard line going ahead, all that momentum, and they get stopped. I mean, that little thing like that adds up quickly, and ultimately just BC having the day.
This will be a hard lesson for NC State to learn.
Yeah.
One, because they lose a game that they technically should have won. You look at the situation of them being up. BC has to come back in this ball game to have a chance to win it, and they do. But it shows you, as you mentioned, when you're down on the 1-yard line or when you have an opportunity to get 3 points or even a touchdown, you got to take advantage of those moments because it can cost you at the end of the game like it did today.
Well, they did turn the ball over 3 times, so that doesn't help either. You got to protect the football if you want to beat any team.
Yeah, and they ran the ball for 150 yards in the first half, so it was working fine for them. And then you think if you're Dave Dorn, this defense is going to be good enough to get us through the game. So it's almost running the clock out and pray that the defense can stop them, but that didn't happen today. So Moorhead stepped up big.
Yeah, MJ Moore is still a bright star. He's young. A little bit of regression is natural. No need to jump off the bandwagon. We've been building this guy up for good reasons. Whole lot in front of him. As for BC, 18-point dogs on the road. The largest upset for that program since 2017 when they knocked off Louisville. Happy for Coach Hafley and that group. Faced a lot of adversity. Got it done today.